Hopefully people get that reference. Right, let's announce that I am live. I'm gonna have to go to bloody China. No, never mind. Oh, right, you're... Hello, rejoice, comrades. The supermod is here. Hello, my dear. And 110 can go and fucking do one. Jerry! Rejoice Comrades. Big Jerry in the chat. Hi, Jerry. 110. I don't think AC can cope with that. I really don't. Just an idea. Oh, I'm up to 539 followers. Fucking bring it. Oh, my chat. Hello, Jerry. Right. Yes, here we go. Yes, I know I'm live. I hit the go live button. Fucking hell. You have a car with no AC. You're in a giant metal box. Or a medium-sized metal box. Please stay hydrated, Shanna. I beg of you. Just end me. I would literally burn up. That is fucked. Completely fucked. So there's my chat. Bring it. Let's bring up my YouTube. Hi, Annie. The terrific meltdown. Brilliant stream title, Kev, as always. Bring it. Shows. Back we go. There we go. I have them both up. Sweet. I will give people the standard 10 minutes to come in, which is only a few minutes away now. I was right. I did need them to open it earlier. Ah, fuck. Oh, stupid fucking. There we go. If anyone needs the stream title decoded, just say, and I'll explain what I'm on about. Admittedly, I've nicked it from Helena, kind of, the first part about Manfrog. Distinct enough from what Helena and Kev use, with my own Scottish spoon. Wraith! I'm scraping the Oreo cream off my cookies with Reese's flavoured Chips Ahoy cookies because I've lost all control of my life. I might upset some Americans here with this one. I don't like Oreos. No. I like Jaffa cakes. And obviously Tunnock's tea cakes and Tunnock's wafers that I can't fucking chew. Yeah. No, each to their own in their snack choices, as always. Chocolate and orange is an art. Like I've had a chocolate orange, well, we've got Terry's chocolate orange, or a chocolate bomb, which is basically a dessert. They're really fucking difficult to make. It's a really light and fluffy sponge with like a sort of mousse or a gel, if you wish, inside it, coated in chocolate, usually dark chocolate. So it'll be like a vanilla or a light chocolate sponge, then a filling inside it, then coated in chocolate, like a bomb. It looks like a bomb cut in half. Have you had a Terry's before, Wraith? Fucking brilliant. It's one that you usually, they're ostensibly recognised as like a Christmassy chocolate treat. Like the sales of Terry's chocolate orange usually go up around about November, December, because people get them at Christmas time. I like the ones with popping candy in it. I don't think they make them anymore. Or I see them every now and again. And they're usually about £3, which is a bit steep. This delightful human being or creature you can see here is Robert Jenrick. He did used to be a Tory. Technically, he's still a Tory. He's just in reform now. And the ambition of this man knows no bounds. He is a bastard. There we go. 11 minutes. Right, I will explain the stream title. Oh, Michael Askew, I missed you there. Correct, Michael Askew. I'll just read that out. Anything with Jenrick attached will never, under any circumstances, add up, especially when you're an evil, corrupt, vicious bastard. Correct. The man is scum. Well, look at the title of the paper. They're making welfare work. Let us talk about this, shall we, everyone? Does Reform's plan to cut 50 billion, I repeat, 50 billion, not even the Tories are as brazen as that. They would cut 23 billion, still not possible. And not it. Right, so me, disabled. I get my just me personally, I get my benefit, not like obviously other Scottish people as well. I get my benefit from the Scottish Government, from Holyrood. Phew. Not the Department of Work and Pensions. We've got a joint claim, me and Super Happy, which does come from Caxton House, which is the Department of Work and Pensions, which is the Westminster one. Disability benefits down in England and Wales, in Northern Ireland, slightly separate as well, is so disability, the ones that you pay, that give to, that people claim if they're disabled, like myself, is 15% of the benefits budget. 15. And that doesn't come anywhere close to that amount. It's slightly more than what the Tories want to take out of it, which is basically just putting us through a fucking wood chipper. Hence the stream title, Manfrog and Co.'s Pelletisation policy. Basically, when you put things through a wood chipper to turn them into pellets and you use them as fuel. So that's what this is going to do. This is going to basically take out all the disabled, all of us. They are evil. It won't fucking work. Correct, Wraith. Reza! Hello, Reza. Rejoice. We have Reza Lindsay in the chat. Look at this evil bastard, Reza. Reform UK has set out plans it says will save more than 50 billion a year from the welfare bill by 2030. That's in 4 years. That is a year into a government. They have to have the next general election in 2029. So taking that amount out of the welfare budget is just going to unalive hundreds of thousands of UK claimants. Bastards. I'm relatively safe up here. I get my benefit from the Scottish Government, so mines would survive. But our joint universal credit claim, has disability components to it for him looking after me. More on that later. I will explain. The party believes it can deliver much of this by stopping foreign nationals from getting most benefits and also reforming disability payments while protecting the most severely disabled. Don't fucking believe yous. Unless they've got indefinite leave to remain, if no recourse, asylum seekers have no recourse to public money. They are put in the hotels that man, this exact man, created, and they have no recourse to public money. So I don't know what the fuck he's on about there. He says he's the shadow chancellor. No, you aren't. There's only one shadow chancellor, and that's Mel Strite. You're a Treasury spokesman, Robert. I tend to agree with you, Reza. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Reform plans 25% cut in welfare spending. How? The UK government will spend $353 billion on welfare benefits this year. Just under half of that goes on the state pension. It's actually more than that. If you bring in pension credits, like tax credits, which Reform has said it will not cut. Yeah, because that's who vote for you. That leaves $207 billion. So cutting $50 billion a year, like Reform proposes, represent roughly 25% of the total remaining welfare spending, which would be extremely ambitious. BBC Verify, you're understating that, by the way. Reform UK's proposed cuts amount to a quarter of the non-pension welfare spending. See, look, this is my one. Or people like me who are disabled. I'm sure if they could, they would just take the 50 billion straight out of this pot. Like sickness pay. Like people who are ill, who just need time to recover, then go back into work. And disability benefits that people like me get. They would literally take that out of this one if they could. Might prove difficult. From is fractured. I don't know how, but I can see the divide getting more vicious. Looking at the Tory and extremist roots, I wouldn't put it past them. You've got a point, Reza. Yeah. They would. I'm sure that if they could try and get away with it, would take that 50 billion out of this one. Because I'm a scummy little scrounger who doesn't contribute to society. Fuck off, evil bastards. One of the benefits Reform is looking at is personal independence payment. I was on that for a while. A working age payment that helps individuals deal with the extra cost of having a physical or mental health condition or disability. The number of people claiming it has risen from around 2.4 million before the pandemic to 4 million this year in England and Wales. Mass disabling event happened. Thank you. The vast majority of that rise would have been people suffering from long COVID or long-term effects of contracting the virus. Could have been a little bit better. The Tories could have actually responded quicker, and not as many people would have been affected by the virus, by the pandemic. But no, they're Tory bastards. So mass disabling event and basically punishing people for something that could have been handled better. I'm not entirely sure. Haven't actually checked in on that, Reza. Rejoice, comrades. Idiosyncrasy in the chat. Hello, comrade. Number of personal independence payment claimants in England and Wales, January 2028 to April this year. There's people already suggested that, Reza. I agree with you, though. Reform says around 21 billion of its planned 50 billion savings would come from changes to health and disability benefits, including PIP. Thank you, idiosyncrasy. Because they're fucking monsters, they're going after the most vulnerable in society. Always fun. While saying those with the most severe disabilities would be protected. Not believing yous. Reform said around 2.89 million people in receipt of PIP will be reassessed over time. Don't know what the fuck that means. Which would lead to current payments being modified or withdrawn, reduced or taken away, and replaced with its proposed disability needs assessment. Sounds like manual review again. Analysts warn that these savings are by no means guaranteed. The Institute for Fiscal Studies think tank says there is relatively little detail about what reform's plans entail. Reform are clowns. They are indeed. Another big element of reform's planned cuts comes from taking away benefits from foreign nationals. It claims around 20 billion could be saved from its 50 billion target if they were banned from getting benefits, including universal credit. If they've got indefinite leave to remain, they can literally get everything else that we have, that the British citizens have. Simple. If they've got indefinite leave to remain, they're ostensibly British citizens. You can't take away the access to it. You're basically punishing your own people by doing that. Not that they fucking care. They would happily put us through the wood chipper. Most of us, at least. More than 1 million UC claimants were born overseas, including around 700,000 EU citizens who arrived in the UK before Brexit and have the right to live and work in the UK, in the country. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's important to bear in mind that around half of EU citizens claiming UC are in employment. Seem to forget that, these bastards. And PIP, people who claim PIP, might also be working as well. They conveniently forget that as well. The use that the people like me, I can't go back into work. I'd be a hazard to myself and those around me. I'm not doing it. Plus, I've got blood clotting issues now. I'm not unaliving myself to go back into the world of work. They can fuck off. Take my money if you want. See what fucking happens. Exactly, Reza. Yeah. The government doesn't provide figures for the number of foreign nationals claiming other benefits. They won't pay for that to get done. None of them will. But taking away these benefit rights would not be a simple thing to do, because it risks putting the UK on a collision course with the EU. Around 4.5 million EU citizens have long-term settlement rights in the UK, which means they're eligible to claim benefits and indefinite leave to remain, by the way. An estimated 1 million UK citizens living in the EU have similar rights. Stripping EU citizens of their rights could lead to member states retaliating against UK citizens over there. This is all hypothetical. Currently, there is none, I repeat, none. There is no reform lords. Because if they put this into their manifesto, that is the only way they're going to get it through. But if they don't want to put it in the manifesto because it might not be a vote winner, they can't use the Parliament Act, basically the sledgehammer, saying, shut up, you crusty old bastards. This is in our manifesto. It's getting done. We got voted into government with that in our manifesto. So it's a balancing act here. So they either don't put it in the manifesto and hope that the Tory lords who are in the place pass it through, which is doubtful, very doubtful. Or some of the Tory lords in the place defect and become reform. That might be possible. Or they just have to bite the bullet and put it in their fucking manifesto, which might not be a vote winner. There's 3 options, and one of them's totally out of their control. Well, 2 of them, technically. So unless they want to put it in the manifesto and say, shut up, you bastards, it's in our manifesto. I didn't see them doing that with this one, personally. Yeah, going on a collision course with the EU yet again. It is all hypothetical, Reza. Yeah. Reform says it would renegotiate the post-Brexit deal that underpins these rights, but that would mean reopening a process that was supposed to have been settled 6 years ago. Oh, that will be fun. Reform talking to the EU. Another wrinkle in Reform's plan is that its planned savings could disappear if a large number of EU nationals apply to become UK citizens and are able to keep their entitlement to benefits. So if they do it now and manage to get indefinite leave to remain so they can actually claim these benefits, I don't see the EU nationals living and working here in the UK voting for reform for some strange reason. Just saying. Where else could savings come from? Reform has said it is considering using a less generous measure of inflation to calculate how much benefits will go up each year to save 4.8 billion a year. Yeah. It also says it wants to spend extra money on tackling benefit fraud, which it predicts will save as much as 2.8, but benefit fraud is vanishingly rare. Hello, my dear. Rejoice, comrades. Miss Hire in the chat. Hello, darling. Look, reform being scummy bastards. Who'd have thunk it? Spend extra money on tackling benefit fraud, which it predicts will save as much as 2.8. Oh! Doesn't work like that, you fucking idiots. And benefit fraud is vanishingly rare, especially with health and disability benefits. Vanishingly rare. You won't be saving money by looking for more. However, other governments have tried to tackle fraud in the past with varying degrees of success. It doesn't fucking exist. The party has also pledged that people who are long-term welfare claimants, people like me, and fit to work would be forced to do forced. You're going to drag us. You're going to drag us out of our beds, our homes, and force us into work. I'll fucking sue your arses. To do 20 hours of work a week in the community on council and scale. You can't force disabled people to do fucking cleaning and park. Just no. Even in the office, I'd be a fucking danger. Oh yes, rejoice, comrades. Aureus in chat. Yeah, correct, Miss Hire. Mm-hmm. It's not clear how this saves significant amounts of money on welfare, given it will cost councils money to run these programmes. Good point. Well done, BBC Verify, actually doing your job. Yeah. I've got him, my full-time carer. That's why I'm so relieved that my benefit comes from the Scottish Government. Quite lucky. Same for you, idiosyncrasy. We're relatively sheltered, relatively protected. Obviously, if they get any power, they're probably going to try and fucking scale back the block grant that we get. Ever campaigning for independence, so they can't fucking do that to us. Because if they fuck around with the Barnett formula, you'll just hear me screaming from the mountaintops, you fucking cunts. Don't make me come down to Westminster and beat you up. Reform is by no means alone among the political parties in proposing welfare reform. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well said, Reza. It's the 21st century. Why do we still have a constitutional monarchy? Just fuck off. Did you see that Harry's having to pay out 9.4 or something? I don't know. He can afford it. A recent review of the PIP system by Labour Minister for Disabilities and Social Security, Sir Stephen Timms, concluded it was not fit for purpose. The government is expected to outline its own reforms later this year. Yes, I'm keeping an eye on it. But analysts stress that achieving significant savings from the welfare bill is easier said than done. It's fucking difficult. Don't you get Guy Fawkes to pay a visit to Reform HQ? John Johnson done nothing wrong. I've nicked that from Kev, by the way. Yeah. Daily Vile. Eat the rich. No. You make them into a fuel. I'm not eating them. Christ knows what they taste like. Ugh. Don't eat the brains. Mind you, we probably wouldn't have much from fucking Chenrick. Sorry, couldn't resist that one. Okay. Overhauling welfare can be a tricky political sell. Yeah, who the fuck's going to vote for it? Look, they're going to try and freeze Granny again. Pensions are the biggest part. Use them as fertilizer. Some of the most fertile growing ground in Europe is in the Low Countries because of the blood that was spilt during the First and Second Wars. So like parts of Netherlands, parts of France, Belgium, some of the best grazing land as well, uh, and lots of like arable because of the nutrients when people once they're killed on the battlefield and they don't get collected in enough time and they just kind of decompose into the ground. Some of the most fertile in Europe. Mm, yeah. Doylums, Katie? I do think it'll backfire. It is also worth bearing in mind the number of PIP claimants in the constituency saw several prominent Reform MPs, such as Boston and Skegness and Ashfield, is higher than the national average. Several Reform held potential target seats have high numbers of PIP claimants. Ta-da! So, this is the number of claimants in the purple, and in the pink, the majority that got to the last election. So that's basically that one was last week. Right, up here we go. This is his Newark. So right, the number of claimants. Hmm. Fareham in Waterlooville is Cruella's. I'm not sure who East Wiltshire is. Runcorn and Hellscape, Sarah Pochin, Bobby J. Is that McMurdoch? Ashfield's Lee Anderson. Yeah. Two less Reform councillors. Oh dear God. And in constituencies where Reform came in a close second, so, but fucking hell. The hell? What are those about? Mr. the Brazen, where are you? That's a lot of PIP claimants in Barnsley South. Fucking hell. And Bradford South, Great Grimsby and Cleethorpes, Llanelli, Kingston upon Hull East, Gorton and Denton. Montgomeryshire and Glendore, Amber Valley, Isle of Wight East, Hornchurch and Upminster and Castle Point. So there we go. I don't think these reforms are going to be vote winners in lots of these places. I didn't know that about Clacton. And they still voted the bastard back in. Yeah, fraud is vanishingly rare. You see me forget that. Manfrog, can you hear me? Or direct it towards Bobby J, essentially, because he's their Treasury spokesman. I wouldn't try that, lads. I really wouldn't. You're not going to get many votes up here, hopefully, with any luck. Bradford South is the ninth most winnable seat for the Greens. Hi, John. Right, that's terrifying to me that they came second in these two places. Damn close to you. No problem, Miss Hire. Stay hydrated. Self care is good care. Take your meds. Stay based. Free Palestine, and laugh at Manfrog and Bobby J. Good night, Miss Hire. Always a pleasure, my dear. Didn't actually realise how big how a good few thousand PIP claimants in your neck of the woods. Mm. 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 You're a fucking idiot, Robert. Thank you. I can get it to you now. Delete bookmark. That's the most up-to-date one. That one. Yes, here we go. Terms of reference. By Miss Hire. Yeah, well, that's Genric's seat. I hope he gets voted out. I really do. Okay, everyone. This is going to be dry as fuck. Right. Tim's review of the PIP assessment terms of reference. This government is committed to ensuring that personal independence payment, or PIP, is a non-means tested cash benefit which is there for people now and into the future, while we are acting now via the Universal Credit and Personal Independence Payment Bill to make sure the system is sustainable to support generations to come. Citation needed. We are committed to doing this and in the context of holistic reform. Being nice, essentially, that's what they're saying. Not believing them. That is why we are also launching a wider review of the PIP assessment as a whole, to make sure it is fair and fit for the future in a changing world and help support disabled people to achieve better health, higher living standards and greater independence, degenerative and end-of-life care. People like me and people who are terminally ill are not going to achieve better health. My body is literally wasting away inside me. I have connective tissue disorders. I've got a blood clotting issue. Fun. I have arthritis in all my joints. It's about management for me. I'm not going to get better. Stephen Timms, can you hear me? Rejoice, comrades, the resident philosopher. It is strange how Farage welcomed in conniving, sneaky Conservatives into reform and expected them not to be sneaky, conniving, sneaky and conniving. He's in for a shock. So true, Scribby. So true. Yeah. No, neither am I. And I'm sure there's plenty of people down in England and Wales who are in the same boat as us. There ain't no getting better. It's about management for some people. And literally, people are dying. End of life care, palliative care. They're terminal. Go away. My Budweiser. Rationale for the review. PIP was first introduced in 2013. to replace disability living allowance, or DLA. I tried for many, many years to get DLA, and then knowing full well I had arthritis. I'd been diagnosed as a child. So not enough evidence. I sent you fucking x-rays and MRIs from when I was a teenager. If that doesn't show how my body's literally breaking down, the DLA was overly fucking difficult to get. Like my mum applied for it, like to look after me. So I got diagnosed when I was 11, by the way. So she applied. So it's the parent that applies for the child who is under 16. And every year she tried and tried again. Said, what are they saying now? Just the same thing over and over. We've literally sent them everything that they wanted, and I still never got DLA. I did get PIP though, but they put me into manual review. That was fun. They tried that 3 times during the coalition years. The Tories are bastards, and the Lib Dems can go and do one. PIP was first introduced in 2013 to replace DLA for adults. It is now over a decade since the assessment criteria were designed, and much has changed during that time. Mass disabling events, thank you very much. Well, there have been 2 independent reviews of the PIP assessment in 2014 and 16. My God, that's the years they put me into the automatic review. Fun. These focused on the quality and consistency of decision-making and the claims process. Decision-making. Most of your decisions got overturned. The assessment itself has never been fully reviewed. Yes, I know, because every time you've tried it, you've fucking fallen flat on your faces. It's funny to watch. Since PIP was introduced, there have been shifting trends in long-term health conditions and disability. No shit. As well as changes in wider society and the workplace. Close to 10 million working age people are disabled, 23%. And this number has grown by nearly 3 million since 2013-14. There have been great increases in the prevalence of disability among young people and a rise in mental health conditions. Yes. Going through a pandemic and it getting mismanaged by the government might give us some mental health issues. Just saying. Alongside this, PIP claims have grown very considerably in recent years. Again, mass disabling events, thank you. In 2019, there were 2 million working age people in receipt of PIP. This number grew by 50% in the following years and is set to more than double from 2 million to over 4. You can tell that from that BBC Verify page. To 4 million people by the end of the decade. 4 years, essentially, well, less than, just slightly over 4 years. By the end of the decade. More people are living with a disability, but the increase in the number of receipt of disability benefits has doubled the rate of increasing prevalence among working age adults in England and Wales. Increases in claims have led to doubling of spending on PIP from 11 billion in 2019-20 to 22 billion for working age claimants last year, with spending forecast to rise to over 30 billion by the year 2029-2030. To ensure the sustainability of the safety net in this context, I do not like that sentence. The government is legislating to target support towards those with greater needs via a requirement that all new claimants to PIP must score a minimum of 4 points in one daily living activity. We have also announced that the PIP assessment will become the single gateway for health-related and disability benefits when the work capability assessment is scrapped, placing additional importance on this element of the system. Ugh. Give me a minute. Oh, look at it. Much better. Right. Remember? We'll be setting out plans for how to access for how access to the health element of universal credit will work when the WCA is removed as part of the forthcoming white paper. Against this backdrop, it is critical that the public, and most importantly disabled people themselves, can trust in the fairness and fitness of the PIP assessment. When they started doing this under Kendall, when she was still Department of Work and Pensions, they didn't invite in disability charities or disabled people, disability advocacy groups. They didn't. They didn't want us in because Liz Kendall is a fucking monster. She's literally been saying this for fucking years. Not that Pat McFadden's much better. He is in some ways. He's probably fucking even worse. We are therefore undertaking this wider review with the aim of making sure that the assessment fairly reflects the reality of the impact of people's conditions in the modern world. Yeah, that's a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it, Scribby? I don't know what the fuck they mean by that. Care to take any guesses? We are therefore undertaking this wider review with the aim of making sure that the assessment fairly reflects the reality of the impact of people's conditions in the modern world. Right. Swans. I can't figure that out. What do you mean, Stephen Timms? Thank you. PIP is intended to improve people's independence. Yeah, that's the clue's in the name. And being disabled costs more. Trust me. Things like these. This is an ankle one, by the way, everyone. This is for ankle. Ah, fuck. Compression sock, so my blood doesn't clot too much. I have to wear it for a minimum of 2 hours each day. It's an absolute menace. These things cost more. Oh, whoops. Diclofenac gel. Do. Motrasol. K-tape. And I've got plaster sitting there as well because I'm clumsy as fuck. Better fitting bras to ease the pressure on the spine. Bras are rather expensive. Where are we? A PIP is intended to improve people's independence. Yeah, clues in the name. Given the insight assessments provide into the challenges people face. We also want to ensure that government is not missing opportunities to connect people to a system of active support that helps them manage and adapt to their long-term condition or disability in ways that expand their functioning and improve their independence. We think you going back into work will be good for you. That's what that means, by the way. It will generate recommendations and proposals for change for consideration by ministers and parliament. Yeah. I will say again, terrifying. Okay, scope. The review will be led by the Minister for Social Security and Disability, Sir Stephen Timms, and be co-produced with disabled people after the rebellion. Yeah, after the rebellion. By Labour backbenchers, a possibility that 120 of them would have voted it down, giving the government a bloody nose in the process. There is disabled MPs. So that's why they brought in this bit. They actually started talking to the disability advocacy groups and charities where they were excluded before. Yeah, you shouldn't have done that, excluding the people who actually speak up for us. Thanks. The fact that Liz Kendall didn't want them involved shows exactly what kind of monster she is. Along with the organisations that represent them, experts, MPs and other stakeholders. So a wide range of views and voices are heard that you tried to exclude before. The review will ultimately report to the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions for final decisions. Rejoice, the Glaswegian ghoul is going to decide. I do not trust that man as far as I could fucking chuck him. That's Pat McFadden, everyone. He is a monster. He can do one. The review will include consideration of, oh God, here we go, the role of the PIP assessment as the future single gateway to health-related and disability benefits in enabling disabled people and those with long-term conditions to live independently and fully participate in society. We believe you should be back in work. fuck right off. The assessment criteria. Yeah, you tried to stitch that one in as well, didn't you, you bastard? Including activities, descriptors, and associated points to consider whether these effectively capture the impact of long-term health conditions and disability in the modern world. She's more Burnham than Starmer. Thank you, John. The review will consider both the daily living and mobility elements of the PIP assessment. So, right, I will be using myself as an example all the way through this. When it was just the Tories in charge, for the vast majority of when the Tories were in charge, I was just getting the daily living component at standard rate. So that is the lowest amount of money I was getting a month from them. They just basically took people like me who they saw as a bit of an issue, because my health issues are quite complex, as you can imagine. So they basically took me and put me on a shelf and just forgot that existed. So I was on the lowest amount of money for fucking years. They were trying to square up like my money, get me my benefit, and the joint claim that we both had for like income support and disability element as well for that before UC came in. But now it's a joint claim for UC that we were on. So the Tories basically just left me sitting there, because trying to join the two of the benefits together, the one that was getting paid to him and what I was getting, is a little bit trickier for them, to say the least. So they basically just parked me. That is the smallest amount of money you can get for being disabled. I'm on adult disability payment now, and I've got both of them at enhanced rate. So that's the highest amount for each of them. Holyrood treats me like a human. It is amazing. Caxton House didn't, because Westminster sucks. Whether any other evidence should be considered alongside the functional assessment to fairly reflect the impact of living with a long-term health condition or disability, including related to an individual's personal circumstances and environment. Right. Whether any other evidence should be considered alongside the functional assessment to fairly reflect the impact of living with a long-term health condition or disability. Oh my God. They're talking about like when I was on PIP on the lowest amount, they kept on pestering myself and my GP for like medical evidence, mostly x-rays, DEXA scans, MRIs, CTs, things of that nature, and any results of surgery because of my health issues. They didn't need that shit. They didn't need the results of what happens after, like, what surgeries I've had. Fuck off. Fine, you can get x-rays. But what they wanted to do, how it gets paid for, the practice pays for the x-ray or the MRI or the DEXA scan. And what my GP kept on saying to them, said, fine, if you want to send Katie to go and get these things done, you pay for it. There is no clinical need to send in her back every few months. If you want to pay for them, you can. She was literally threatening to send a bill to the fucking working pensions. I love it. I love that. I love my GP. She was amazing. So yeah, that's basically using other evidence, basically medical information. How the PIP assessment could provide fair access to the right support at the right level across the benefit. How the PIP assessment could provide fair access to the right support at the right level across the benefit system. No, like I've read fucking white paper before, like for other things, so I can kind of break it down and see what they're actually saying in these documents, and I can't figure that one out. How the PIP assessment could provide fair access. A lot of loaded terms here. Yeah, thank you, Scribby. What role the assessment could and should play in unlocking wider support to better achieve higher living standards and greater independence. Just give us our money. Don't even think about doing what the Tories were. They're not the only one. There's other places tried it in the past, like giving us vouchers for shit. You want, mate? That won't work. Like, I have to go to 4 or 5 different places to get my shit, and some of them I buy online as well. Like my bras, I buy online. I go down to a shop at Brifissimo if anyone's curious. But all this stuff to my right here on this shelf, right here, I go to like Boots or Superdrug or Newmarket, Lloyd's if you wish, and other places where you get these kind of supports and shit. I have to look around because I have to avoid neoprene because I'm allergic to that shit. So, yeah. What role the assessment could and should play in unlocking wider support for it to achieve higher living standards and greater independence? Right, the assessment plus whatever medical evidence you send to them, that just do that and say, oh, look, that it's degenerative. Oh, that person's got a terminal diagnosis. Oh my God, this person's blind, deaf. They're a paraplegic. They're missing a limb. They have a prosthetic arm, hand, fucking foot, leg, even. And based on the level of how your disability affects you living your life or going out to work, because people who get PIP still work, like hearing aids, ergonomic keyboard, better chair to sit on if you work in office, um, um, screen filters and shit like that, ergonomic mouse, blah blah blah. Rejoice, comrades. Flow Snake in the chat. Hello, my snaky comrade. Rejoice, we're going over the Tim's review and I'm decoding it for everyone. For all my sins. Mm. We'll be going on to videos next after reading this one. I'll put in a document each stream that I'm doing this. I've got all of September, the rest of August and all of September, essentially, and most of October, to cover all the documents that I'm downloading from the Tim's review section on the government website. Doing it all at once, and no, I'm not taking a fucking psychic hit like that. So we'll go through maybe 1 or 2 of these documents each stream, so people are forewarned. They know what's happening. They might know what's happening, what the possible consequences are. And again, your lass will explain it all. Because I don't want them to fuck with our money. I don't want them to fuck with us at all. Stop attacking fucking vulnerable people. Thanks, Labour. Principles. In West Sussex, the County Council have introduced a new policy where you need 12 points to get a bus pass and that you can't drive. You need to have relinquished your driving licence to qualify for a disability. What the fuck? West Sussex, you suck. What the? Oh, I just took my right. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Give me a minute. Ta-da! Look at that cat's face. Fucking love it. Ah! Ah! To get this delightfulness, my award letter, saying how much my award is, how long I'm going to be on that award. I'm on it indefinitely. I'm basically legacy. They don't need to come back to me at all. Full award, indefinite, until I pop my clogs, essentially. Once I get to pension age, I'll get added on top of my pension. Like I'm 47. It's another 21 years before I get my pension. Hopefully, your lass will reach that age, and I get a top up on top of my state pension because I'm disabled. Chris knows how bad it's going to be for me by the time I reach there. Ooh! So my award letter, I went down to an office which no longer exists, just off Maryhill Road. It's gone now. It's been demolished. Came with a photograph on this, and my award letter, which they photocopied, and they sent me my bus pass out. That was it. You just need your, doesn't need to be a full award either. And to get him onto it, I basically just we need to show his benefit claim as well. And he got put on it. Simple. I was actually quite stunned when they demolished that office building, so it's part of the Glasgow Council. It was right behind a McDonald's. I wonder how many of the staff went there for their lunch. That was easy. That sounds absolutely fucked, Scribby. Right, principles. The review will be underpinned by several key principles. Here we go. The goal of the review is to ensure that the PIP assessment is fair and fit for the future. I don't like the fact that they keep on saying that. I'll need to try and decode that bit better. Reflecting the reality of people's conditions and their goals and ambitions. Taking account of changes in society since it was first devised and introduced. Taking account of changes in society, I'm desperately trying to figure that one out. Yeah, there was a pandemic. Lots of people died. Lots of people got disabled because long COVID, another breathing and blood related issues because of the pandemic. Mm. The review will ensure that PIP remains a crucial part of the health related and disability benefit system. Thank you, Flow Snake. Oh dear God. I can hear him moving around. No. We could maybe go on to that next flow snake. The review will ensure that PIP remains a crucial part of the health-related and disability benefit system. Right. Let's see if we can figure this one out. It is crucial. You shouldn't fuck with it. I'm reading that and thinking they want to change the way we get assessed. Like, that minimum of scoring like a 4 points on one of the daily living assessment criteria. I thought that had been dropped, but we will find out when the Tim's review actually gets published later on in a couple of months. Providing non-means tested support. How do you have means test? If you're going to try and introduce means testing, you can't. It's not physically possible. How do you means test fucking disability? We're all fucking different. John the Brazen, can he actually get that? Never mind, I would hate to lower the tone. Providing non-means tested support. Yeah, it has to be non-means tested. You can't means test disability. I'll say again, we're all fucking unique. Like, my disability makes me completely different from, say, Omaha's. Or, Scrubby, I can't remember if you're disabled or not. Or lobsters. And everyone else in the community, in the discords. We're all very fucking different, thanks. Because anyone can be impacted by a long-term condition or disability. Correct. No shit. Disabled people are a part of the society. We do exist. I was born with my issues. But people become disabled through accident or government dropping the ball on a fucking pandemic. They get disabled through no fault of their own. The review will be co-produced with disabled people. We should be we should be the loudest voice. We should. How many am I on? I think I'm on 18 for my adult disability payment. Because they actually done the assessment correctly up here. And I just had to Skype. Well, Zoom. It was a Zoom call. That was it. Zoom call. Didn't even need to go to the office. Because I had to go down to Cadogan Street. God, I hated that building. It was fucking ugly. So a lot of the office buildings, a lot of the government buildings that are here in Glasgow, especially in that neck of the woods, were built in like the 70s and 80s. So brutalist. They were fucking ugly. And it's fitting that you get sent to go to Cadogan Street for the PIP assessment. It's an imposing fortress of a building that I don't want to exist. Just it still stands. It's still there. A blight on the landscape. Luckily enough, there's buildings taller than it now, so it's mostly hidden. But I know it still exists. Mm. Sweet, nice one, Omaha. It does, yeah. Means testing costs more. I've actually done dives into that for other government spending areas where where benefits are considered. Uh, considering, yeah, means testing costs more. Always has, because you have to have someone running it. You have to have the assessors to do it, and then you have to have the bean counters essentially to sign off on everything. It costs more. It costs 3 or 4 times more as much as just doing it universally. Fed up us fucking saying that. And Helena keeps on saying it as well because Helena's based. Praise be Helena. Yeah, not the. Do you think they fucking care? No, like Reform says they've got that. They're going to try and do that kind of nonsense. It doesn't fucking work. It'll cost more. Like you're going to do means testing to actually fix this to save 2.8 billion. It's going to cost you more to do the means testing than you're going to be fucking saving. Reform, trust me on that one alone, because different governments, different parties have tried in the past for different parts of the benefit system. Means testing will always cost more, especially when you're trying to just penny pinch like that. It's fucking stupid. Christ almighty. The review will be co-produced with disabled people. Not me. The organisations that represent them, clinicians, experts, MPs and other stakeholders. So a wide range of views and voices are heard. Tried to block us before. We'll engage widely over the summer to design the process for the work of the review, including to ensure that expertise from a range of different perspectives is drawn upon. We're going to talk to these people, these clinicians, these experts in this policy area. You really should be talking to disabled people and clinicians more. We should be the loudest voice in the room. Oh, thank you for helping Omaha, Scribby. Much appreciated. Scribby's amazing. Praise be Scribby. Oh, you need to be talking to us, disabled people, and advocacy groups and charities who actually support us, who want the best for us, and to actually live in dignity and have enough money to live and maybe go out for a holiday every few years, days out, shit like that, and get the stuff that we need, like supports, heat or cold sprays for joint issues, blah blah blah, things like that. Better food. They keep on forgetting that a lot of autoimmune sufferers have digestive issues and metabolism issues, and we need to eat better types of food, which is more expensive. So we need the money to actually get the proper diet to maintain this. Well, for me, I need the protein and the dairy and stuff for the hair and the nails and so. Yeah, yeah, they're over here in Twitch land. You're over there in YouTube land. I love all of yous. Hello, hello. There's actually more of yous on my YouTube tonight. Nice one. Hello, YouTube. The review will take account of other reforms announced in the Pathways to Work Green Paper. I haven't read that one. In particular, the work underway on how access to the health element of universal credit will operate. That's the one he gets for looking after me. Via the PIP assessment when the work capability assessment is removed. The government will set out its approach to this issue in the forthcoming white paper. The review will take account of related work underway across the wider health and social care system and the other linked benefits and services, including the Independent Commission into Adult Social Care chaired by Casey. Can we please stop using Louise Casey? I beg of yous. Thanks. The purpose of the review is to ensure the assessment is fair and fit for the future. That's the third time you fucking said that in this fucking paper. Thanks. Thanks, Flo Snake. You've done work. It broke your back and two vertebrae. Fucking hell. There ain't no way you just tell them where they can shove it. Like blood clotting issues, joints constantly swollen and stiff. I'm doing my resistance bands. The two of them are up there, just arm's length up here, each morning. Right, the purpose of the review is to ensure the assessment is fair and fit for the future rather than to generate proposals for further savings. Not believing you, Tim's. Thank you. Because of our commitment to co-produce, the precise timeline for the review will be determined over the summer based on the design work with stakeholders to ensure the review can fulfill its aims. But we expect to conclude by autumn 2026. The review will report to the Secretary of State for Working Pensions. Rejoice, the Glaswegian Ghoul is getting to make the final decision. That's fun. So that the government can then make any decisions flowing from it. These could take the form of changes to primary legislation, secondary legislation, as well as a range of potential non-legislative actions. So primary legislation has to get voted on. I think they'll bypass that. Secondary means it just goes straight into a fucking bill. And potential non-legislative actions, statutory implement. They literally just do it. Ideally, we would want it to be primary legislation so it gets voted on in the House of Commons. We will find out. Delightful. I hope I have made that a little bit clearer for everyone. We will go on to another one on the next stream because fucking hell, my throat's going. And I want to do more on my stream than just talk about the Tim's review. It does get kind of depressing. No sitting for me. I found that out when I did exams, 3 hours and a shot of cocodamol and nothing else for the week. Oh dear God. Yeah, if the purpose is not to generate proposals for future savings, that's why I'm not believing them. I'm just not. I don't fucking trust them as far as I could chuck them, essentially. I'm keeping my eye on you, Tims. Mm. They're still wanting to chuck us into the wood chipper, Scribby. Boo. Mm. God, these people are fucking despicable. Ugh. I don't know what I was more upset by. Oh God. So there was three people that I want dealt with when he came in and became Prime Minister. I wanted him to deal with Glaswegian Ghoul, get yeeted Patrick Bosco McFadden is his full name. What the fuck's that about? I wanted him yeeted. I wanted Douglas Alexander fucking yeeted. And I wanted Shabana. Shaba. I wanted her dealt with as well. No, all three still in position. Just end me. Thanks. The one more than anything, I wanted McFadden gone. I really do. I don't trust him in Caxton House, I dunno. Not one bit. There we go. Saving my throat. I'll go on to another one of the next. Oh my God! They spoke to Ballot Box Scotland. Fucking bring it. Oh, Christ almighty. Yeah, I will give you tips or anything if they do actually come for us, Omaha. Well, I think I'm relatively safe. I've got a little bit more comfort up here with my benefit coming from Holyrood. But I can help you. I can give you tips and stuff and what to say to them if they try to force people like you back into work. I would just say, no, you're fucking monsters. Leave them alone. Thanks. Monsters. Huh. Right. Rejoice. Oh, fuck.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the National Podcast. I'm political reporter Steph Braun, and joining me today is founder of Ballot Box Scotland, Alan Folds. How are you doing, Alan?
I'm good, yeah. Founder and the sole nerd behind Ballot Box Scotland, I would say. It's mostly just me, so.
Yeah. You've given me a wonderful badge this morning with Ballot Box Scotland on it, and it's a really colourful picture of Scotland, which is lovely. So I feel like I'm part of the fan club now.
I hope so. I kind of feel like a lot of journalists and politicians they're either part of the fan club or because they're not polling so well, they're like, well, at least it's useful to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's such a useful resource, and I remember I've been working in Glasgow and working in Scottish journalism for since 2017 now, and I remember coming across Ballot Box Scotland quite early on. So you are well known in political circles.
He is. I know of him. I like Ballot Box Scotland. Everyone, go and check him out. It's really quite good. Median wage, please. For disabled people to actually have a better standard of living if we were to go back into the world of work, we'd need to be above median, essentially. So what's median? 35 or something like that. I think it's somewhere around there, 35,000 a year. We need above that. Like low to mid 40s to actually support ourselves, because like I said, being disabled costs more. Yeah, we could do with above. I suppose median, like I will use my little sister as an example. She is now band 7. She's a district nurse. She has all the power. Well done, darling, by the way, for that one. Becoming a district nurse. Round of applause for my little sister. She is above median. I will not say what. Don't think she'd like people knowing how much she is roughly. She's above it now, which is good. She has 2 teenage boys to look after, and a household, and a dog, and a car. Yes, they keep on forgetting that disability benefits are taxable. Like I don't get enough from my benefits for it to get taxed. Essentially, people say you're sitting on your arse, you're earning, getting given money, the equivalent of blah blah blah. Wrong. Even the highest amount. Oh, hang on. There's a calculator on this one. Oh, yeah, it's working. Oh no, calculator. Calculator. Thank you. Fucking hell. I'm on just under 6,600 a year, so I'm well below where you start paying tax, which is 12,750. Yeah, that's the amount that I get. That's what my benefit is. And at the next automatic review I'll be getting in a few years, I will go up to this amount. Even if I get the like if more criteria gets added in from basically my health getting worse, I'd go up to just under 9,000 a year. So still well below the tax threshold. I could do with that one. But as it stands, with all my my current issues, I'm on the full award for both of them, which is good. I appreciate it. You will not be getting nearly half as much as you need, Scribby. You really won't be with all those issues. Obviously, I hope you'll have a decently comfortable life, I guess. Mm-hmm. Look, I've worked before, and I've got like disability payments when I've been in work in the past. Mm. No, like I suppose I could sit in an office, but like I say, I'd be a danger to everyone around me and myself. My hands keep on shaking. I can type, but my hands keep on shaking and stuff because of the nerve issues I've got, because reasons. I can't touch type anymore. Well, it depends how concentrated I get. I can kind of touch type maybe, but yeah, if I concentrate too much or if I do too much, I physically get knackered, and I have a nasty habit of keeling over, hurting myself. Like I was going to the phlebotomist 12 hours ago, oddly enough. Because of this horrible lung infection that I've got, I'm taking. Oh fuck! Oops! I was meant to take my last amoxicillin an hour ago. Oh dear! 1 day left. 1 day left. Boom! Oh god! That bloody massive pill. Huh? Nerd! Rejoice! It's the Morton in chat. Hi, Morton. Yeah, because of my when I was going to the phlebotomist earlier on, because of this nasty lung infection in the left lung, by the way, not both, fuel. I literally I was literally gasping for breath, and I keeled over. He had to rescue me. He caught me. I didn't fall on the fucking pavement. Thank God for that one. Yeah, and the colour drained from me. You could see it under my makeup. He said, "You've went really fucking pale. Maybe you should use a darker shade." I said, "No, I'm not. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. You need to be able to see if I lose colour underneath my makeup so you can rescue me." So the way I have to go is up a hill, down the side, down the back of our local leisure centre and library, up another hill, to the corner, and down a hill. So it's a series of like the stairs at the back of the leisure centre, and a car park, and bushes that they don't take care of. So I literally had to walk on the road because I couldn't get past because it was like a fucking jungle. Yeah, it's a fucking amazing idea, isn't it, Scribby? Good luck trying to do that, you fucking idiots.
And newspapers and
Yeah, hopefully it looks a lot prettier than it did then. Sometimes I go back to the really early work and I'm like, oh, that's rough stuff there.
You mentioned when you came in here as well that you've obviously dashed over from your day job over at, which you said was obviously based in Glasgow. So it's fascinating to hear that you actually you actually have to have a full-time job as well as doing all this, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I started an hour earlier, sort of earlier in the week, so I could then fit this in. So it's sort of like a balancing sort of act, particularly sort of around election time, obviously.
Incredible. Well, let's get into it then. So we've obviously discussed this is just you that runs Ballot Box Scotland. Is there anybody else involved at all? Or
so at election times, the past few elections, I've had sort of a few, I call them volunteers, but I do pay them, so they're not technically volunteers. So I do have people who come along to help out with results day, which so literally just around the corner, one of the hotels here had a meeting room for the Holyrood election this year, had 5 or 6 other sort of Ballot Box Scotland kind of like nerds and fans who came along. And if I hadn't had them, I would have got it all done, but I would have got it all done like the next day. So, it's in between elections, it's just me. All the analysis is just me. The website is just me. But on results day, people do, chip in for a helping hand, which is really appreciated. But yes, it's just me most of the time.
Yeah, good to have a little bit of support though. So yeah, you do a heck of a lot of work to bring people information around elections. I know that when there's by-elections and things like that, and then people really, really appreciate the insight that you give.
Yeah. Get one of your carers to go to Superdrug and buy one of these. This is a 4-step one, so as you can look at that. So that's the file. It's softer. It's easy to do. Then you smooth the nail, you polish it, then you give it a shine. Get one of these. There's also a 7-step one, but the 4-step one is brilliant for basically just filing the nails, and it's soft. It's easier on the fingers, and you can just sit there watching a program or a film or listening to music, and you're doing the nails. And this doesn't fracture them as much. Like my nails, because of my metabolism and the fact that I don't absorb the nutrients correctly. No matter how much fucking dairy I fucking shove into my gaping maw, my nails have a nasty habit of fracturing and they've got lines on them. Like, give me all the dairy, just all the dairy, but nah, my hair's weak. My nails keep on breaking rather easily. Doesn't help that I bite my nails half the time. Naughty girl. But yeah, get one of those. Easier than an emery board. And the emery boards have a nasty habit of like doing feathering at the edge of the nails, and they kind of fracture a bit, like break and chip, depending on how strong your nails are. Superdrug. 4-step nail. Hang on, I'll bring it up. Where is it? Ah! Ta-da! Nail buffer. £2. 4-way nail buffer. I'll put it in chat. The nail slayer. Buffy the nail slayer. there you go, Omaha. 4-way nail buffer. That's the exact same one that I use. There's a 7-way one, but you didn't need the 7-way one. That's for actually doing proper prep work if you're going to be putting nail polish on. That doesn't work for me. Nail polish falls off these things. And I am not allowed to use falsies because they'll rip the nail out. That's happened to me twice when I went to a nail bar to get lovely nails done for our anniversary, for wearing a lovely red dress and a lovely purple dress last time. When we went to a lovely pub up in Bishopbriggs called the Avenue. I loved that meal. My nails paid the price for it though. So when I was dissolving, like you use nail polish remover and it breaks down the acid, the glue that holds the falsie in place. It didn't. The nail had sunk into the glue had sunk into the nail bed and it wasn't removing. I was sitting there for like half an hour, 40 minutes. And he just lifted my fingers out and took off the ring finger one, this finger here. Said, right, I'll get it off. I'll leave it off. And it took the nail with it. And he went, oh, fuck. So this nail's been ripped out, this one. And it hasn't grown back in correct ever since. It's a mess. So no falsies for this lass.
Because that's just the level of detail. I mean, you don't miss it by election. Like whether it's a council one or a Holyrood one, or you're always on it. So, I mean, when did your? I mean, I think would you call it an obsession with polling? Could you?
I think obsessions. I think when you've got a website dedicated to something, I think it's fair to say you're obsessed with it. I think that's
I think you've also got to be as well with the level of like detail that you produce. So when did this obsession with polling start? And how have you managed to build Ballot Box Scotland up by yourself?
I mean, I feel like an obsession with politics started. Like I was not like someone who did modern studies at school, but I did history, and we did a lot of stuff around, for example, the civil rights movement in the US. We did like the Chartists, the suffragettes in the UK. So like we had a real sense that voting was important. So when I could vote for the first time in 2009, I went from knowing nothing about politics to being insufferable. Like a classic,
I've been a political nerd since I was 15 years old because nerdy lass. And no longer with us. I miss him desperately. My comparative religions teacher and classics and Latin teacher, classics, Dr. Edie, got me into basically politics and electoral reform and things of that nature at school at such a young age. So I've been a communist essentially since I was roughly 16. So over 30 years at this point. I'm insufferable. For a long, long time, I wasn't allowed to talk about politics with my two sisters. My mum asked me a question every now and again when there was like votes, be it Westminster or Holyrood or local elections, like council elections and stuff. But the go-to in the family was middle sister because she was involved in student politics. She was the president of NUS Scotland. She's met ways. Poor darling. Ugh. Yeah, the National's amazing. Like under this, every video that I use or every interview that I use, I say that I've put it up on my stream. I paid absolute fucking bargain for an entire year of the National, 20 quid. Fucking bargain. Plus, this podcast is fucking amazing. Get lots of cool people on it. People like Alan. And being able to hear from Ballot Box Scotland on the National, fucking yeah. Katie approves. I can't remember what the quote is either, Flow Snake. You know who would remember it though? Kev. You'd probably remember it.
Teenager. And then after that, I just found that I really enjoyed elections. Specifically, obviously, what happens from elections is more important, but like just watching elections. So you'll regularly find me like following an election, like in Switzerland or in Bolivia, just to see what's going on. But I think Ballot Box Scotland itself, and that sort of real when the obsession really sort of became Ballot Box Scotland was in 2018 when I was unemployed. And I was kind of like, well, I'm unemployed and I'm bored. And whilst there are very good UK level sort of accounts like, Britain Elects and Election Maps UK who do good work, there wasn't really like the Scottish nuance, particularly around Holyrood and particularly around how, we don't have first past the post for councils, we use a transferable voting system. And I was like, well, I'm bored and unemployed. I could do that. And then it kind of just sort of grew arms and legs from there.
Yeah, so you spotted a kind of gap in the market and a gap in people's insight that they were getting, really, and you tried to kind of fill that in.
Exactly, yeah, and particularly when you think about council by-elections, like that sense that, because it's a transferable voting system, it's not the same thing as,
No.
whoever vacated the seat won it last time. You can have a situation where the person vacating the seat, the party that got the most votes last time, the party that would have won if it was one seat or three different parties, and that's really chaotic to get people to understand. I was like, well, I think I can try and do that at least, so...
Yeah, and how is it? So which year did you launch Ballot Box Scotland?
2018, so it was January 2018, and so it's been going now for just over 8.5 years. So,
and how would you say it's kind of changed over time from when you first kind of started it?
So I think a large part of it is the fact that it is now a lot more well known. So I mean, ahead of the 2021 election, about which I've been going for 3 years, it was still small enough that I'd maybe had like a couple of little bits before the election, but not a huge amount. And then after that election, that was the point where I had like folk like Colin Mackay STV who was like, "Oh, saw this thing you posted on Twitter, like just a video." That was quite good, and they then had me on for about a piece about the local elections ahead of 2022. But then
I started watching them in 2021. I didn't know I was still kind of busy towards the ends of the Tories being, well, halfway through, essentially. So 2021 is when I started following them in the lead up to the following year's locals. I like the way our councils get voted in. It's a lot better. For the constituencies for Holyrood, it's still fucking garbage. It's still first past the post. Plus the additional member system levels the playing field, essentially. Still kind of shite, though. Fully proportional representation, if you please. Thank you. Sitting here shouting from the sidelines, not getting listened to. It's fun, honestly. Citation needed. I am not following whatever that black book of bollocks says. Has anyone tried to read that? Scribby, have you tried to read that god-awful book? Like, my sister got it back in the day, just when she was still at uni. And she's read it. She said to me, yeah, you didn't need to read it. You've already been saying this stuff for years. Like, no, like counting what's in the book. No. The Black Book of Communism. Absolutely, the lead author for that book, desperately trying to get to the 100 million mark. And yeah, capitalism's probably killed more people. And so's imperialism, oddly enough, over the centuries. You haven't read it? Good. You didn't need to. You don't.
Over and the run up to Holyrood, just there, every time STV had a poll, they had me on Scotland Tonight, which was like really good fun. Good to get paid for my analysis, but also like nice. Like I quite enjoyed going on and like chatting with Rona and Colin on the telly and stuff. So it's gone from being this thing where like maybe people on Twitter at the time kind of seen it to like broadcasters will invite me on to telly. So it's been quite a quite a weird thing. I think my friends are getting a bit bored of seeing me on the telly now, but my mum and my granny aren't bored of seeing me on telly, and that's the main thing.
Oh no, they never would be. They were shouting about it a lot, I would
Exactly,
imagine. And yeah, no, it's great that
Look, my boy's on telly. My boy's on telly. No, I'd love to get onto the national podcast. I really would. But I'm small beans. It's literally just me here. Don't get me wrong. There's other people within the community who stream with me. Fucking amazing people. I love them. Andy Luke, Jim Speak, the legend, our absurd Satanist. We love Jim Speak here. He is awesome. Plus a couple of Burks, Kev. I haven't streamed with. I have kind of streamed at the same time as Helena for a Westminster election. I've talked to her for a bit on her stream and my streaming stuff, which was 2024, so 2 years ago. That was fun. I really loved that. That was me a year into streaming at that point, when I was doing ridiculously long streams, like 6-7 hours, basically trying to end myself. So I usually try to keep it to like 3, maybe 4 hours now, because yeah, like I keep on saying, disabled, and yes, streaming's tiring, especially when I'm dealing with things like benefits and fucking health issues and shit like that, and talking about how Westminster is arse. Westminster is arse. I want to sever that link to Westminster. I really do. I just want my country, thanks. Thank you.
you've been able to enter a different sphere and talk about your work that way. And a big name drop with Colin Mackay. That was a good one. So, I mean, one thing we've noticed that you, as well as Ballot Box Scotland has built up, and as maybe your face has been seen more on the TV and talking about polling, you have suffered quite a bit of abuse over time, and I think it might surprise people to learn that something like polling and this kind of circle is something that attracts a lot of trolls and these kinds of people. So I noticed that you'd left X, I think, last year because of some of the abuse that you suffered. So I just wondered if you could tell us a bit more about some of the comments you.
So I suppose the thing is it's not been as bad since moving away from X, and I think the move from X was actually like the final departure from X was a lot more to do with who owns the website now and the quality and the sort of direction the site has gone in, rather than sort of like the abuse. But what I would say is that
Omaha for PM. Baseness gets pinned.
it was a lot more notable, sort of like the nastiness you would get on X compared to what I get. I've kind of moved to Blue Sky as kind of like the last.
Twitter. Don't do that. Don't give Elon his due there. Dead name it. Call it Twitter. It's what it is. The everything app. My arse. I'm off the hell site. I don't go anywhere near it. I've got people in my Discord who go into Twitter for me. They're shielded a bit better, but they use it as a tool as much as any of us use it. And I ain't paying for it. Elon can go and do one. Let's put it this way. I know what I know you kind of. You'd be 10 times better than the PMs that we've had over the years. Seriously, you would be. Me as Prime Minister, I don't want to go down to Westminster. You think I rant now? If I ever become Prime Minister, holy fuck, you ain't seen nothing. PMQs would be fun. She still hasn't went up against him in PMQs. That's going to be fun. Burnham v. Badgerbobs. Whoever that is. Mind you, in saying that, they've got a bounce in the polls for them. They went above reform. Why won't the Tories just fucking die? Like the party, not the people. The people can just fuck off. Yeah. Well, because you're a decent human being, Omaha. Just like most of the people in this community. If not all of us.
Remaining place. I tried Instagram, not very good at it. So but the thing is, particularly, I think there's, well, first of all, a sense, I make no secret of the fact in BattleBox Scotland that I have a previous association with the Scottish Green Party, so I stood for Glasgow City Council in 2017, stood almost accidentally for European elections for them in 2019, and there's a lot of people who have this sense that that you could somehow be as interested in elections as I am and not have an opinion on the outcome, which is obviously ridiculous. It's kind of like a football journalism. If you're into football enough to get into the journalism, you've got a team you support. So a lot of people would just have the perception that because I had a historic association with the party, I must be biased. I must only be saying this stuff to advance that party's cause, which is not true. But also some of it is that whilst on BattleBox, I'm always very careful not to take positions too.
Your lass, if you can't tell from what I'm wearing, Scottish Green. Or, I'll be even more blatant about it, sticker on my phone case. I've also got a t-shirt doing the bed. No. Oh, it's over there. I can see it. It's over there. I have a Scottish Green t-shirt. I am partisan. I make no bones about it. Maybe another reason why I shouldn't be down in Westminster. Another ranty Scot in the House of Commons. Obviously needed, just not this ranty lass. Nah. According to Mary, it's one of the most toxic work environments she's ever worked in. And I believe Mary. God, I miss her. That's Mary Black, everyone. SNP. She was amazing. She was. But yeah, the place is toxic to all hell. Thanks, Mary, for cluing us into what it's like in there. I suspected as much, obviously, because it's filled with fucking demons and ghouls and otherwise assorted scumfuckery. Definitely not a troll.
Too much in terms of policy. That's not BattleBox Scotland's role. I'm very vocal about, first of all, sort of democratic systems, which doesn't really get too much abuse or anything, but also very vocal about LGBT rights. As a gay man myself, my best friend is trans. The situation in Scotland and the UK is been getting increasingly grim, and I'm not one of the people that's willing to be sort of quiet and sort of gloss over that. And I think there was a period where when I was getting vocal about that, obviously it was quite sort of a contentious topic, and that would get a lot of I think was where the worst sort of abuse would come in. And I did have a couple of instances where I got some really grim emails that I then had to phone the police about. Now, there wasn't, I don't think I was at any point at risk, but it was that thing I was like, okay, that's an actual hate crime. So yeah, I would emphasize though that this is a very rare occurrence. It's happened, you can count on one hand the number of times really bad stuff's happened. A few times where it's more just the atmosphere on X was really bad. Fortunately, this isn't something where I'm wondering I'm abused and barraged as BattleBox Scotland. Actually, I really enjoy doing it, and mostly it's a very, very positive experience. So these bad situations are very rare. They really suck when they happen, but they're not the defining thing at all.
That's good. That's really, really good to hear, because you talked about the atmosphere on X. I think a lot of people find that. I know that I have my notifications on X muted, so I just completely just block out any kind of commentary that I would get on my work and things. What kind of, when you say that the atmosphere was bad on X, what kind of things were you observing that made you that made you give up on it? And
So
turn
I mean,
away?
I said part of it was particularly in the aftermath of like the US presidential election in 2024 and sort of the prominence of Elon Musk and the fact that there was a clear, like the algorithm very much sort of hyping sort of far right stuff. But even before that, like in Scotland, like some of the attitudes in Scotland, like I'll say that the ballot box had like a block list, like as long as my arm. And one of the weird things, a large part of that was like Nicola Sturgeon parody accounts, and I'm doing parody very much that, because they were always like really weirdly sexist and homophobic. Now, every politician, like,
Flow Snake, Omaha the cat dancer. Omaha the cat dancer, Flow Snake. Yous are both awesome people. Feel free to talk to each other. Feel free to come over to Twitch if you want, Flow Snake. Or feel free to go over to YouTube, Omaha. I want everyone in my community to be on good terms with each other. You can still debate and stuff, obviously. I will be watching, do not worry. And I will jump in and say, now, boys. Thank you. How are the Flow Snakelets doing anyway? I hope they are good. All the kids have went back to school here now in Scotland. It's like when I was going to my appointment today, they were all going to like the cafes, and like there's a Chinese where they've got like the Buffet de Bain Marie with different things and stuff. Plus there's a Greg's and a Subway. Rejoice! Jim Speak, he do be lurking. Hi, comrade. Be nice to Jim. He has ban authority. He can boot yous. Not that I'd need to. Jim is lurking from the void. Watch out for the tardigrades, Jim. If anyone gets that reference, well done.
It should have the right to lampoon any politician and sort of have a bit of a joke about them. That's democracy. But like I was like, once you've blocked your 100.
Oh, and some of them make it so fucking easy to laugh at them. They really do. It's amazing. People like Farage, or Manfrog if you wish. I try not to use his actual name because he doesn't fucking deserve it.
Fake Nicola Sturgeon account, you're like, right, this is just weird misogyny now, guys. Like, what's going on here? So things like that, and you don't really get that on other platforms. You don't really get that these days. We've kind of sort of moved on from that. But like things like that, like I said, it was weird. It's like, can you not just be normal? Can you not be normal with politics? So things like that made it quite strange at times.
Politicians, be normal. Oh, Alan, my sweet summer child, it's not going to be like that. Some of these people, we can literally parody them out of all existence. It's fun. And again, they make it easy for us. They really do.
Yeah, so we'd like to pick your brains a little bit, obviously, while you're here, polling guru, and where we're kind of at in Scotland politically. Our hot topic, obviously, is always Scottish independence, top of the list. So from your...
I try not to depress you all. I like to highlight what's going on and stuff like that and give my own Scottish slant, if you wish. I try not to dwell on it too much, obviously. I still want some chill in the stream, obviously. And you get to hear me rant, which might be fun for you. I don't know. I like ranting. I'm used to it. I've got it down to a fine art at this point, really. Endlessly screaming into the void about certain policies that I want them to do. Not that they can fucking hear me. Yeah.
Perspective, where do you think the country is on that, and what have you observed over time? Do you see anything changing in the years to come? Can you sort of summarize the position, I suppose?
I mean, where we've been for the past few years is basically like stuck, like half and half. Like polling is basically half and half. You'll get the occasional poll that's like 52% yes, and then you'll get a poll the next week that's 47% yes, and 53% no. Like, so we're kind of at this point where like we are roughly evenly divided. And the thing about saying what do I see for the future is it's actually really difficult, because if you're in this kind of catch-22 situation where I don't think those numbers are going to move very much unless there is a campaign to move them. And that could move them in either direction. It could move it in favour of the union, it could move it in favour of independence. It's not guaranteed to move it in one way. but we're not going to have such a campaign and debate unless the polls shift, and it makes it seem like there needs to be a debate. So we're kind of in this thing where like we're stuck as an evenly divided country, because we're not having this debate. But we're not going to have the debate unless we're not evenly divided. And it's like, how do you square that circle? And I think that's something that's very difficult. And what might change that in the longer term is the sort of the clear demographics. So support for independence is very clearly generational. It's not age based, although the two things are obviously related. You don't become more pro-union as you get older. You are roughly like as likely to continue supporting whatever option you did when you first thought about it for the rest of your life. And what that means is that older people who have historically been pro-union remain pro-union, but new generations of younger people are pro-independence. And unless that changes, which it absolutely could. If you look at examples like, for example, Quebec, or you look at where like support for independence is kind of decline, or sovereignty as they call it, there's kind of decline. It could change, but if it doesn't change, what you will eventually get over time is that sort of the older generations who supported the union will obviously just naturally pass away. I think about the fact that two of my grandparents who voted in 2014 not around anymore, so wouldn't vote in the next referendum, and younger voters who are supportive of independence sort of come on stream, and that could shift the numbers. But that's a very slow process, and it's not really a process that changes that we have like a really big debate about what we want.
It's a matter of time, essentially. So like younger millennials and Zoomers and Gen Alpha and stuff. So as we're an aging demographic up here in Scotland, we're an older population. Like the unemployment rate up here is always slightly better than what the national picture looks like, and we're more left leaning up here. So the younger generations are really more left, like they're the closer to what my political philosophy is, essentially. Like I've been like this since I was a teenager. Like politically wise, I've been of the same thought, essentially. Don't worry, I've changed, I've grown, I've changed policies, what I promote and things of that nature. But ostensibly, socialist or communist, essentially, since I was a young lass. Omaha, that is delightful. That makes me laugh. Thank you. Thank you for using Manfrog, by the way. Yeah. Then he gave him his name. Doesn't he deserve it?
As a country, it's almost like it happens by stealth. And that means it's quite soft as well. So I said, like, a lot of people might support it generationally, but once you have a debate, maybe the next generation will start to swing in the other way. So yeah, it's very hard to see right now how we move in either direction.
Yeah, it sounds like you're sort of suggesting at the moment it just seems like it's going to be a matter of time before Scotland becomes independent, rather than something actually being able to spark it in the meantime.
Yeah, it's not that I see like a big moment, and as I said, it's not by no means guaranteed that younger generations remain pro-independence. Going forward, that could shift, but like that does seem to be the thing that will slowly move the dial, which is partly why, and I suppose we might go on to this if we talk about polling and parties more broadly, but it is partly why it's so interesting when you look at sort of perhaps with Labour have been sort of the positions they've been taking, particularly on LGBT rights, for example, and also on things like immigration, where they have moved towards a sort of a more socially conservative perspective.
I'd say he's French, but that's unfair to the French. I've actually asked a couple of Frenchmen who are in Kev's community, essentially. Said, is that a French surname? It is. Yes, it is a French surname, oddly enough. Do you want him? No. We've already got the pen. We didn't need another wanker. That was Lord Frutus, by the way. Praise be Lord Frutus. Lovely Frenchman. He is awesome. But yeah, they don't want him back. Like, there's plenty of the Scottish ones down there. And no, we don't want them either. They can stay the fuck down there, including Laura Kay. Rejoice, award-winning Kerbalism coming back in the next couple of weeks. I wonder who she'll have on. We will find out. And please, don't invite Piers back on. That man is a fucking dickhead. He left the country. He fucked off. The YouTuber. Just like me. I'm YouTuber. So's Piers. Haha. think the French have enough fascists as it is. You are correct, Omaha. They do, unfortunately. Which sucks. The far right is on the rise in Europe. Make it end, please. Or end me.
Perspective, which is not shared by younger people. And that, I was saying, well, it could be the case that future generations of young people get back behind the union. But if what the big pro-union parties are, barring the Lib Dems, if they're all behind social conservatism, which young people don't agree with, you're not going to get that change. So like things like that, how the parties position themselves is really it has a really big impact on that sort of generational attitude towards independence versus union.
Really interesting. So yeah, in terms of where political support is lying in Scotland, as you're sort of getting onto there, we've seen a partial recovery from the SNP of the lows of the general election, but there's still nowhere near as much support for them as we saw in kind of the heights of 2015 and things like that. We've seen the complete demise almost of the Scottish Tories. We've seen reform come into the picture at Holyrood. Scottish Labour had their worst ever Holyrood.
I did not want reform in Holyrood. Not that obviously I voted. Don't get me wrong. Women have literally died to get the vote. So I see it as a civic duty of mine to actually vote. Not that I'll see if I can shift the dial even just a little bit. But yeah, I didn't want reform in there. Like on the list, the list portion for Glasgow, we had 2 Tories. They went. So that was Sandesh Gilhane and Annie Wells. They are no longer on the list. It's 2 Reform Egypts, and I can't remember their fucking names. Do I need to remember their names? So it was basically a straight swap from it was 2 Tories on the Glasgow list to 2 Reform on the Glasgow list. Boo. Plus we've got Greens and we've got a Labour. Annas, before he left. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, Annas. Fucking wank. Saying we need to reform, we need to get rid of the House of Lords. He changed his tune quick, didn't he? Fuck off, Annas. See you later. I hope you like it down in the other place. Just stay down there. Fuck it.
Results in May. Have you made any kind of interesting observations polling wise since the Holyrood election, especially with Andy Burnham coming into the picture more recently as well, that maybe perhaps aren't being talked about as much?
So part of the problem is that we haven't had Scottish polling since the election. Now, certainly we've
not much.
We've maybe had 1 or 2 pieces, and a couple of them are. I'll be.
We did some last.
I was going to say I'll be diplomatic and say there's polling firms that I'm not very. I don't think are very good. So we haven't had anything comprehensive that covers both the UK Parliament and the Scottish Parliament. We haven't had like stuff from YouGov, from Survey. We haven't had like a spread of polling that really enables us to see, well, what is happening in Scotland. We can see what's happening in UK level, which is we've seen, for example, the Greens come down from the high they were on, but still higher than they were at their election in 2024. And we've seen Labour go back up, but not to as high as they were in 2024. I'd also point out, just thinking about the SNPs, we think about the SNPs having recovered since 2024. Actually, their vote share was flat. Like what they were polling for Holyrood in 2014 was the same as what they got in the election. But what happened was kind of similar to Labour in 2024, where they stayed flat and the Conservatives collapsed, the SNP stayed flat and Labour collapsed. What my sort of, and this is where you can sort of, people can note this down and they come back to me in a few months' time if it turns out I'm terribly, terribly wrong. But what I think is that I would expect to see a little bit of a Burnham honeymoon in Scotland, but not as big as in England. And I think that the thing is, you look also at Wales, where obviously Labour's defeat was even worse in Wales than it was in Scotland, down to like 11-12% of the vote. Really, really bad. Completely, from government to minor party. Scotland and Wales do have those very distinct dynamics because of the constitutional question. So Andy Burnham's appeal.
The looksters here, I'm no longer alone. Oh. You're always with me, Flo Snake, don't worry. I'm making sure you're safe over there. So now I've got more on Twitch than I do on YouTube. The numbers shifted over. You just if you can, Flo Snake, keep an eye over there. And we've got Andy as well. You're not alone. You're never alone anyway. I will look after you. Do not worry. Think of me as your brilliant Scottish auntie. here to educate and enlighten and basically make you giggle. Yeah. Yeah, this is the worst that they've ever had up here in Holyrood. They were literally like, it was a coalition government. They haven't been fully in government up here in Holyrood, and now they returned the smallest amount of MSPs ever, 17. Oh, on Scottish Labour news, Jackie Baillie is backing Joe Fagan, not Michael Mara, which is really curious. I'd really love to take a look into Jackie's mind to see what she's thinking. I really would. I'd probably get disgusted by it. You know, oh good, just having a giggle. No problem. But please remember, you're never alone, Flo Snake. Your lass is always here.
Is already capped by the fact that there are other parties that already exist. That voters will not consider the UK Labour Party because they support the SNP or they support the Scottish Greens. So even if there's a bit of recovery down south, my instinct is that while there should be some recovery north of the border, it's not going to be as high as that. And also, if you look at, obviously, we've got the Scottish Labour leadership contest ongoing at the moment. If you look at the fact that the three candidates were, Michael Mara, Joe Fagan, Monica Lennon. Monica Lennon didn't make it onto the ballot. She had probably the biggest distinctions from the previous leadership. Now, I think that would have caused problems in terms of the other MSPs not being very happy with that, but it's notable they've ended up with two who have the least distinction from previous leadership. And if you think about the fact that Scottish Labour have lost seats at every single Scottish Parliament election, and I would argue that includes the first election because the constituencies matched and they won all at Westminster and they won fewer constituencies in 1999 than they did in 97. So Labour have always lost support. There's a real risk that continues. And if you'd said to me 2 years ago that, Labour wouldn't win this Scottish Parliament election, I'd be like, well, don't be daft. Of course they're going to win it. And also the idea that they would just go on fading forever would have seemed laughable. But now it does look like, we talked about the Scottish Conservatives having completely died at this election. It does look like Scottish Labour are on their deathbed in a way that no amount of Andy Burnham TikToks and Manchesterism, I think, will make a difference to.
That's really interesting. I mean, when I saw the stat, sort of when they got there, I think it's 17 seats they got at Holyrood now, and somebody had shared that constant decline. That the founders of Scottish devolution, in many people would say, I know there were obviously different parties that contributed to it, but they kind of led on it. Have just it's not worked for them. I mean, what do you think are the main reasons behind that? Why have they just constantly gone backwards?
So I think a lot of them will point this year to the Starmer effect. And obviously Keir Starmer was a very unpopular, very ineffectual Prime Minister. And I think you'd have to be daft to say that didn't have a massive impact on Scottish Labour's results this year. But it wasn't the whole impact. I always come back to that 2011 was the first Scottish Parliament election I could vote. And that's, of course, when the SNP won their shock majority. Yeah. The first UK Parliament election I'd voted in was the year before when Labour held on at Westminster, and you did very, very well in Scotland, and no seats in Scotland changed hands compared to 2005. And the kind of feeling that you get with Scottish Labour is that the lesson has never been learned. And the lesson isn't necessarily about policy. They're touching some policy around LGBT rights where I think there are serious problems for them. But some of it is around attitude. And I think I was reading yesterday about Douglas Alexander. So of course, Douglas Alexander, elected MP in 1997, lost his seat famously to Mary Black at the age of 20 in 2015, comes back in 2024 and chairs their campaign this year. And he was saying, we didn't anticipate, how popular the SNP would still be. It's like, okay, but as I said, polling was flat. Their polling was the same for 2 years. They got polling said. How did you miss that? But also there was something in the interview or the comments we read, people just seem to vote for the SNP as a habit, regardless of what they say or do in government. And I'm thinking, okay, Douglas, but when I was born, your party had won every election in Scotland for 31 years and would continue doing so for 17 more. So what that sounds like is less like, people should really be weighing up parties by their policies and stuff. It sounded like, that used to be us. We are the party that's supposed to just win in Scotland, as a matter of habit. And I don't think that Scottish Labour have ever gotten away from that when you consider that Anas Sarwar inherited his seat from his dad in 2015, lost it in 2015. He was deputy leader of Scottish Labour in 2014. Again, we come back to you're talking about like the Monica Lennon point. It's like if Scottish Labour is just going to keep going back to the same faces that were in power or who were involved, Michael Mara ran the disastrous Ian Gray campaign in 2011, if they're just going to come back to the same people who have played leading roles in their previous defeats because they just think Labour should win in Scotland, Labour's not going to win in Scotland. There has to be an offering and there has to be a reckoning with how Scotland has changed since the referendum. And I'm not sure that Labour have ever done that. And that, I think, is partly why Scottish Labour are struggling above and beyond the woes that Keir Starmer heaped on them.
Yeah, because it seems quite obvious that their ties, their strong ties, as we've revealed recently, that they can't really financially survive without the UK Labour Party, seemingly, and how their ties to the UK Labour that kind of has brought them down constantly. And so you're touching upon there is there's some kind of entitlement about Scottish Labour that they just think that they should win, and there seems, you were talking about yesterday where Douglas Alexander and had said that Scottish Labour misjudged the SNP's popularity, and he was sort of talking about this sort of portion of the population that seems sort of unreachable for Scottish Labour somehow now. So would you say that there is kind of a bit of defeatism there, and that they is that a fair assessment of Douglas Alexander, or is it quite defeatist?
I would say it feels defeatist, and I would say it's one of those things. It's anecdotal. I saw someone claim on Blue Sky last night.
I didn't Omaha. Can we fix it? No, it's fucked. Just a fun little t-shirt that I bought myself last month. Or 2 months ago? 2 months? 2 or 3 months ago? I love this. Can we fix it? No, it's fucked. And yes, it's been a long, slow, drawn-out process of Labour dying up here, essentially. Like, there's people that still believe in them for whatever fucking reason. It'll be harder to kill off Labour than it will be the Tories. No, it's useless, Nick. No, wait, Keith was ineffectual. The way he looked out for national interest was brilliant. It'd be nice if it'd be in our national interest rather than Australian US, but you can't have it all. You've got a point, Full Snake. Unfortunately. Yeah, there's been speculation in the community, like in different discords and things like that, whether he'd go into the other place or go into the international community. So we're thinking, yeah, he'll probably get some sort of role in the international community. Coalition of the Willing being a big factor in that, because they basically he's done well with that, apparently. I don't know. But yeah, he's probably going to take on some role like that, I believe. But we will find out, I guess. He's still in the House of Commons. He's still representing Holborn and St Pancras. Do us a favour, please. Vote him out. Andrew Feinstein would be better. Thank you.
They'd been at a Labour event, or sort of internal Labour, Scottish Labour thing in, I think, November. And basically the Scottish Labour Circle, well, the only gap in the market for them was the socially conservative vote, and that explains their socially conservative swing. And again, it's like...
Correct. Well said, Alan. Yeah. Like, they're basically just Tories now. They keep on saying that he's a left-leaning PM. No, he fucking isn't. He's a Blairite bastard. He'll be marginally better than Keith, essentially. But at the end of the day, he's still Labour. He was Labour Friends of Israel when he was in the last time, when he was in the House of Commons. I didn't see that changing. Plus, putting Ed Miliband into fucking foreign. What the fuck were you thinking, Burnham? Christ's sake. Should have just left him at net zero. I kind of like Miata. She's all right, I guess. But this cabinet, I've got issues with it. I really do. No, like there's downright scumfuckery in the fucking cabinet still. Pat McFadden, Shabana Mahmood, Douglas Alexander, who is a rampant unionist. He got voted out, like you heard Alan say, got voted out, and Mary Batt got voted in place, but he got parachuted in across in the capital. For more on that, we'll need to talk to our lovely non-binary comrade Dan Abulaith. Dan, if you can hear me, you can explain the reason that Douglas Alexander exists. Obviously, we've still got Ian Murray over there as well.
If you are the main centre-left party of the country and you have written off everyone under the age of 35, the largest, by far the largest portion of whom voted Green, you've written them off. You've written off sort of social liberals in cities. You've written off people who supported the SNP and independents. Who are you as a centre-left party left to appeal to? And if you start taking that approach, well, the only gap in the market for us is socially conservative people. Oh, well, there are these people who are just going to always vote for the SNP, so we shouldn't try and appeal to their voters. Oh, all these people who are young people who are voting for the Greens, we can't try and appeal to them. Once you've written off such a big proportion of the electorate, what is left for you? So it does seem very defeatist to do that rather than thinking, okay, how do we win those? How do we win those centre-left voters back? How do we get those socially?
I'm going to call it, you can feel free to use this, but credit me, the Manfrog factor, or the Manfrog mandate. Essentially, they're all chasing socially conservative voters now, which is basically the boomers. That's not a winning electoral strategy, in my opinion. We're an ageing population here in the UK, and going after the people who are going to be basically not voting for unaliving reasons. Don't hit your start to that. It's not. You have to appeal to the broadest base possible. Labour aren't doing that now. They're not. They're chasing the right wing vote, and it's going to end badly for them. They need to be punished for doing this. By the way, they completely need to be punished. Finally, my sister has left Labour. Well done, darling. Round of applause for my middle sister. She's terrified now that Wes is in fucking defence. Just make that make sense, thanks. I'm not happy with Yvette Cooper being in health and social care. I have issues with Yvette. Like, there's other people in the cabinet that I do kind of like. Rejoice, comrades. Linton. Speaking of young people, hello, Linton. How goes it? Alan is explaining why Scottish Labour are dead, or essentially dying off. They deserve to be punished, as far as I'm concerned. They really do.
Liberal voters back. If Labour have written those voters off, when those voters have long been, certainly through my lifetime, have been the core of Labour support, it's going to look pretty grim for them.
Yeah, and they've kind of written off the fact that there is a level of dissatisfaction with the SNP as well. I know that some people are, they're for Scottish independence. They will always vote SNP. They're the kind of leading party for Scottish independence. But
if I'm sounding a bit odd, chest infection, right, lung, rather bad lung infection. Do not worry. Taking amoxicillin and prednisolone, the steroid. So that is getting dealt with. My feet, my legs, and my knees, both of them, especially the right one, swollen to fuck and really fucking tight. I'm kind of panicked again. I don't want more blood clots. I'm on a Pixaban, for fuck's sake. I shouldn't be forming them. More on that later. I'll make an appointment to see my GP again and show my leg. Please be Dr. Ferma. He is awesome. Other than that, and just the general arthritis issues and shit like that. I'm doing fairly well. Thank you for asking, Linton. Much appreciated. I hope you are doing well. Also, there, a young voter in the chat coming to listen to mad Scottish women.
But Scottish Labour have kind of written off the fact that there is some people who are not happy with the way that the SNP stand on certain things. Oil and gas is a massive topic at the moment that the party seem quite sort of conflicted on. So it just seems like they've Douglas Alexander's thrown his hands up in the air and gone, maybe we can't do this anymore. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, the SNP, like if you look at their regional vote, 27%, that's really bad. That's a really, really bad share. And their constituency vote share was only so high as it was because of a combination of tactical voting and the lack of Green constituency candidates. You look where the Greens did stand, they did all.
Is that it? And a little book haul coming soon. Nice one, Linton. Your place was taken by Lukashenko. Sincerely, Emir, Tony Blair. Flow Snake, you are a bloody genius. Hilarity gets pinned.
Most as well, and in some constituencies better than they did on the list. So the SNP are really, really vulnerable. And, taking that point about the Greens, 2011, the first time I voted, the SNP had 11 times as many votes as the Greens. Now they have on the regional list vote less than twice the number of votes the Greens do. And the SNP have lost so much support to the Greens, particularly in Edinburgh, where the Greens came first. The Edinburgh and Lothians East region, because it contains bits outside of Edinburgh, the Greens were a narrow second, but they were first in Edinburgh. They were very close to being first in Glasgow. There was a clear dissatisfaction with the SNP that the Greens managed to seize upon, and Labour should have been able to seize upon. Like, they should be able to work that angle of this is a party that has been in government for 19 years.
Alan, my lovely, lovely young individual. They won't do that. They're getting their orders from on high down in Westminster. They've been told what to do up here. Essentially, it's basically a puppet shadow government up here with Labour. And they need to be punished for what they're doing, taking orders from Westminster and from American House, the Labour leadership down in London. Took you months to come up with that. Credit where credit's due. I will always say, you're finally getting to reform a revolution. Bring it on. Yeah.
There are people like me who, I'm 36. I couldn't vote in 2007. The SNP have been the government of Scotland my entire adult life. There should be people my age and right thereabouts and younger who these parties can appeal to and go, look, these guys have been in power the whole time. They're looking a bit tired. Don't you want a change? And it looks a lot like the.
John's looking tired. I will say that. There's other people in cabinet and in the SNP backbenches in Holyrood who are not tired. They're roughly around the same age as me, and maybe a little bit younger, some of them. That's the future of the SNP. As much as I love Nicola, she was getting towards the end of her career anyway. She was looking kind of worn out, and this whole Peter Murrell situation has taken a lot of energy out of her. You can fucking tell it with interviews and stuff like that. Obviously, still Scottish. Still has a voice. Still gets listened to. Obviously, it's Nicola. Born in the same year as Super Hubby. John's looking the same, and John's older than Nicola, for Christ's sake. Sorry, John, you look knackered, mate. I love the work that you've done in the SNP, and you've been in cabinet and things like that for the SNP. You've done good stuff. You've been really great. I do love you. By the way, he's my MSP from my hometown up the road in Perth. But yeah, he looks so fucking knackered. Don't get me wrong, he still gets kind of animated, especially for First Ministers. But he is looking a bit tired. Yeah.
Greens got most of that vote in Scotland, and Labour didn't get any of it. And really, you would have expected the opposite to be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Alan. It's been great to speak to you, and we've worked through a lot of stuff there. Just on the Scottish Labour leadership contest, I guess it would be interesting to sort of hear your predictions and thoughts around that. I know you've mentioned that Monica Lennon didn't make the ballot, and we've now got Michael Mara.
Because the two men who were running basically stymied her. The pair of bastards that they are. Jackie Baillie is backing Joe Fagan, who is a list MSP for the South Scotland region. For more on that, speak to Michael. He lives in that list area. I keep on meaning to ask him what his opinion is of Joe Fagan. And Michael Mara, he's the northeast. He's just up the road from where I'm from, up on the east coast of Scotland. I thought Jackie would have backed Michael Mara. When I found out that she wasn't running, I thought, what the fuck? Jackie, are you knackered? That was a bit of a surprise for me. I thought she really would have taken control of that and become, like, she's tried so many times, 3 or 4, I believe. 3 times? 3 times she's tried to become a Scottish Labour leader. She's always failed. Women verboten for being any sort of Labour leadership, either down in Westminster or up here in Scotland. Labour misogynistic, confirmed. But she's backing Joe Fagan, which is, I find, really curious. Really. I'll be keeping an eye on it. Do not worry. Obviously, so will Alan. We will find out in the middle of September. I'm still saying it's going to be Mara, basically architect of their manifesto. I don't like Michael Mara. I don't know enough about Joe Fagan to hate him yet, but we'll find out about him, I suppose. If he doesn't win, he'll get into the shadow cabinet anyway for Scottish Labour up here. So Jackie, I think, as well. More on that to come in about a month.
This is Joe Fagan. There's been a lot of talk about Joe Fagan in particular, and the fact that he was a bit of a kind of a surprise name to appear. So what are your thoughts around it at the moment?
Do you know, it's genuinely hard to say, because it's very, very clear that Michael Mara is kind of like the establishment, for want of a better word, candidate. He has by far the most support. I think he's got something like approaching like 30 of the 54 total MPs and MSPs put together. So like the parliamentary parties are very clearly behind Michael Mara. Joe Fagan being a new MSP and being sort of a relatively unknown quantity, though, does that appeal to members who might be like, well, Michael Mara's been an MSP for 5 years, he headed up the manifesto, he's backed by all the folk who've been in position for a while. Do they go for someone new? Jay, like, I know that's so unsatisfying, but I genuinely don't know whether it's that kind of establishment backing members of like, well, this is the person who clearly we should go for, or whether it's like, well, this is a fresh face, is a bit different. I genuinely don't know which of those it will go. As I said, though, I'm not convinced that either of them have the sort of distance from Scottish Labour sort of past approaches to succeed. Now, we'll see in 5 years whether I'm right, but that's my prediction. Is I don't think their leadership's going to turn around the Scottish Labour Party, regardless of which one wins.
Well, that's a bit scary, isn't it? Because we're what we are now. It's Scottish.
Sorry, excuse me about that. It would have been changed if Monica had managed to run and win. She would have shifted how the party addresses certain policy issues and things of that nature. Monica is, who I wanted to become Scottish Labour leader, but no, didn't make it onto the ballot. And I'm guessing citation needed, as always for this one, just me speculating here. I think both of those men, especially Michael Mara, stymied her. Because the pair of them are bastard. Well, I know Michael Mara's a fucking bastard. He's fucking stupid. The Party Manifesto was... And they cynically used young people in their campaign videos and stuff. Yeah, that's not going to work, Labour. I know young people. I'm related to them. I actually asked the young people in my family and friends of the niblet. Will you be voting Labour? No. Have you read their manifesto? It looks stupid. Like the niblet pointed out, why are they using young people in their campaign videos? Because they're trying to appeal to you. Is it working? No. You heard it here first. The niblet, who's in their 20s. I think the niblet voted SNP for the constituency, but Green for the list, and up the road. Like I done that the same here. Scottish Greens couldn't run in my constituency. They run in the neighbouring one because my old constituency got lopped in half. And my comrade, who is now list, Iris Duane, oh, love her, went up against my former MSP, who is Bob Doris. He won the seat. He go back into Holyrood on the constituency, the new constituency that got created, Kelvin and Mary Hill. I done canvassing. It nearly fucking ended me. I went to the pub to have a few pints after it. I was so fucking knackered. So we were on the ground trying, canvassing for Iris to become an MSP. She is an MSP. She's on the list. Praise be. We love to see it. I said that to her at the time when we were doing the canvassing. Iris, I love you desperately. I really want you to get into Holyrood. I really want you to become the constituency MSP, but going up against Bob is going to be kind of difficult. I hope you realise that. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, we know it's going to be... She got damn close, though. She got damn close to unseating Bob. That was a bit of a turnout. I'm glad she's on the list, though. So she's actually in the place. She's their spokesperson for tertiary and further education. Praise be Iris. She'll do good things in Holyrood. It's like a lot of the younger members of my family, where they voted Green in their constituency if there was a Green candidate running in the constituency, but it was mostly list that the Greens got in. 15, the largest number we've ever returned to Holyrood. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. So many good people got voted in from us across Scotland from the Greens. Brilliant. Love it. Plus, we took Glasgow South. Holly Bruce. Praise be Holly. She is great. She's going to do good things in Holyrood as well. More on that coming later.
17 Scottish Labour MSPs. I mean, how long can it keep going backwards for?
Well, is that the thing is that when we think about the fact they had 400 MPs down south and they had to draft an Andy Burnham to get a new Prime Minister, and meanwhile they've got 17 MSPs and they had like fighting like rats in a sack over them. I like just imagining like the next election 13 MSPs. It's like, well, we can't have that person as leader because we'll lose all our MSPs. In the next election they've got 7. They'll eventually reduce to 1 who'll be like, well, I can't be a leader or else we'll lose all our MSPs. So it was like at some point maybe they just need to try something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you.
Alan, again, my sweet summer child, it's not going to get any better for them. It won't. Their biggest hope got blocked. And the rest of them who are in Holyrood just now for Scottish Labour, nah, none of them. They're always, I'm sorry if you don't like this Scottish Labour MSPs. I really don't care. Most of you are fucking puppets. And the ones currently running, I don't know about Joe Fagan that much. More on him later. But Michael Mara, Jackie Bailey, who else have we got? Carol Mockin might be slightly better as well, who's South Scotland. The rest of them, they're basically centre right now. Like, they're not as socially, some of them are not as socially conservative as some of the ones down in Westminster. But yeah, they're all, I think they're all little pliable puppets, essentially. And Michael Mara is an ambitious bastard. I'm still saying it's going to be him. Ideally, it should be Monica. It really should. Not that I'm not in the Labour Party anymore, by the way. I left years ago. And I've been a Scottish Green Party member for 4 years now. Your last is a lovely eco-socialist, praise be.
So much, Alan, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We are in awe of your dedication to polling and the amount of work that you put into it. And it's been great to have you on. So thanks very much. And thank you to all of you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that conversation, and we will see you next time.
Oh, God, that's long. I am open. I was talking to the Lib again last weekend. Apparently, the UK has 0 data centres. No! Who the fuck said that? Fucking idiot. Sorry if it's a family member. But yeah, there's data centres here. Trust me on that one. Oh, God, what is he speaking to her for? I'm up for suggestions, anyone. If you want. I've still got lots of energy in me. And you can hear my lovely, lovely voice. Just keep on telling people that Labour is the Tories now. Yeah, well, they are. They are. Let's go home and check the news. Oh.
Add rice.
Adding my rice. Unwashed.
Carrots.
Karate.
Peas.
My pea.
And onions.
Onion.
Stock.
Chicken piss.
Spices, salt and pepper.
Turmeric. Cumin. Paprika. Bit of salt. And African American pepper.
Crushed or pasted garlic.
I've just gone for lazy garlic because I'm a lazy bitch.
Olive oil.
Olive oil.
Mix that all together.
That's mixy, motherfucker. It's about that time I ask a random nerdy question, don't you think? Who is your favourite villain? And I mean proper villain, not just, oh, he was misunderstood and turned good in the end. I want to see how twisted you guys really are. Let me know down below. Also, I'm going to be doing a bit of an early bird access to the app. For a couple of reasons. One, I'm an impatient bastard, and I just want to get you fuckers in that community. And two, I want to get your feedback. After all, we're making it for you. And just for shits and gigs, I'll throw a special Founders Members discount in there for you as well for when it actually fully goes live. So if you want to help me out with that, just click the link in my bio and I'll give you a shout when it's ready to go.
And now, the secret to this recipe
Not very good at keeping secrets, are you, Adam?
is going half chicken breast
Chicken tits.
and half chicken thighs,
Thick thighs save lives.
yogurt,
Yogurt.
which is a hack for keeping it juicy and tender,
And did you know Katie's nickname for me?
curry paste,
I've gone for korma, because I'm a pussy.
spices listed below.
Which is the same as earlier, minus the turmeric, salt, pepper, paprika, and cumin.
Mix it
You're a psycho.
onto some skewers.
Oh, I think I actually have some skewers.
Any chopsticks like these will do.
No, calm your tits. I'm sure I've got them. Here they are.
Rest these on top.
I feel quite fancy.
Parchment paper, foil into the oven.
Get in there, you slag.
Whilst that's going, a super quick salad.
Oh, it's a race now, is it?
Red onions, tomatoes,
Tomatoes. I'll take it from here, mate. Just add some coriander.
coriander,
Lime, make sure to do it with your hands.
lime,
Good boy. And don't forget your...
and salt.
You son of a bitch.
Chicken and rice comes out the oven.
How's the macros?
Around 500 calories, 40 grams of protein, and 6 grams of fiber.
Damn, that's pretty good. Let's give it a go. That's bloody lovely. Awesome volume, decent protein, low calories, and it tastes good. Win, 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 win. If you're not a big fan of the traditional chicken and rice because it's boring, this might just tickle your pickle. Definitely give it a go. Recipes down below. Hope you enjoy it.
Add rice.
I don't have much energy left in me, so I think I should recuse myself from the discussion of what we watch next, as I wouldn't last it out. Probably this looks like a recipe that would actually work. Check out Louis. He's quite good. He watches all. He goes through everyone who does these sort of recipes and stuff. Obviously, the protein. He's a fitness person, and some of the recipes he's came up with look absolutely like he's found fucking delicious, and the macros are good. Like I could do with the protein anyway. I don't do enough struggle to do exercise. Protein good. Starch is good. Their starch is from the rice. Don't get me wrong. I like my starch. I love my rice. I'm more of a potato girl because Scottish, obviously. And neep. It is not a Swede. That is a people. It is called a neep or a turnip. So it's haggis, neeps, and tatties. Praise be, or haggis pecora, which is the best, or haggis bonbons with curry sauce. Num num num. He likes haggis supper. I'm more of a chicken supper or a fish supper kind of girly, or a steak pie supper. It's been ages since I've had a chicken supper. I used to demolish them in short order because obviously chips and chicken can't go wrong. You need the starch. That's the slow burn energy, by the way, that the body needs. And it fills you up. What the hell, John? Okay, let's listen to my Scottish
Now
comment.
this is a balm, and no one can tell me otherwise. Apparently, there are some people who might call it a cob or a bap or a batch, a stotty. What makes sense in one place clearly doesn't.
It is lush. If anyone in chat who can hear me, if you have the chance, try haggis pecora. It is fucking the bomb. It is goated completely. Like there was a great pub. The pub's gone now. It's been closed down. They used to do haggis pecora with sauce, and you can either have it with rice or chips. Guess what one I went for? But yeah, their haggis pecora was fucking delicious. Num num num. And just try haggis in general. Haggis is good. The recipes are closely guarded for reasons. We don't want anyone knowing our secrets, especially where haggis is concerned. And black pudding. Award-winning black pudding can be had up here. Again, black pudding supper. Really good.
Always necessarily make sense in another. So,
what does Everton Football Club mean to you?
Everything. What I've said as part of the defence investment plan was that I want through to give all of our community something down.
I'm going to pull a prank for you here.
You and I need to reindustrialise to make sure that jobs here are available very first.
The UK has a new Prime Minister and he is just so gosh darn normal and relatable.
Hiya, I'm Andy Burnham, and what I'm doing right now, I'm just making a cup of tea. I do loads of really normal things throughout the day, and having a cup of tea is just one of them.
You know, he even has a favourite Greg's, and isn't that cute? But amongst all the TikToks and the Twitter posts and the discussions about Greg's and Baps,
This is a balm, and no one can tell me otherwise.
what exactly are the politics of this normal, Cambridge-educated bloke? Well, if his interviews are to be believed, it's about hope, about making things better for people all around the country, about fixing the accumulation of power in Westminster and fixing the ignored regions of the country.
Bring back hope. Bring back a sense of possibility to the country, that things aren't in a inevitable decline, and that your place isn't shut out of having some good things happen.
Do better policies then, Andy. Thank you. Just an idea. Build council houses, that might work. That might be a good thing. Nationalise the water, just tell the shareholders where to fucking shove it. There is 2 chippies in Fort William, so it's a 50-50 shot in the dark for me, so I think I know what one you might have been to. And I can think why a snake would be in Fort William, oddly enough. For those of you who do not know, that is the nearest town, it's the nearest town. It is in the foothills of a rather large mountain. You may know it, you may love it, you may have climbed it yourself. This lass hasn't, it would fucking end her. It is called Ben Nevis, and it is rather large. Put the benefits up to European average, yes, we're one of the most miserly fucking social safety nets in Europe. It sucks. Learn that from the Timbers Review, coming next stream. Because your lass likes punishing herself and torturing her chat, apparently. This one, right here, or the other one, who's pretending to be Burnham. This is John the Duncan. He is a Marxist like me. He is from the Northern Isles, but he lives down in London for his sins. Hi, John. John's good. Everyone, go and follow John. I'm a Patreon, by the way. Have to support Scottish streamers or Scottish content creators like John. Feel free to subscribe to me on the Twitches. I am not monetized on YouTube yet. Going to be a long slog for that one, I think. More on that very much later on. But yes, feel free to subscribe to me on the Twitches. $4.99 a month if you use browser, or fucking £7 if you do it on phone. So I would suggest get to a browser, get to a PC or a laptop if you want to subscribe to your Scottish lass. No pressure, of course. Most of us do be broke here. Leftists.
Which in practice means something. Probably something good. He apparently wants to end 40 years of neoliberalism, which is great. Manchesterism, Burnham says, is the end of neoliberalism.
Working side by side with...
No, it isn't. Not with who he's got in his cabinet. That much is very much guaranteed. It's not the end of neoliberalism. Trust me on that one. I speak from experience here. Yeah, John's good. Oh, shiny buildings. They look tall.
Business. We built the country's fastest growing economy. Manchesterism is the end of neoliberalism.
Wait a sec.
Again, no it isn't.
Again. What did he say there?
Working side by side with business.
Well, that doesn't sound that much like ending neoliberalism. In fact, it sounds quite consistent with Tony Blair's vision of New Labour.
No more bosses versus workers. We are on the same side, the same team, and Britain United will win.
What's going on? He's supposed to be a normal bloke who likes Greggs and gravy and calling your mum on a Sunday afternoon or some shit like that.
Hey, it's Andy Burnham here. I'm just about to make some toast, with white bread of course. I wouldn't even know how to spell sourdough and wouldn't be interested in it, because it's not normal enough.
I don't know, maybe I'm being too judgy. He is just an ordinary bloke after all, and just because he was a former ordinary bloke in Tony Blair and Gordon Brown's cabinets doesn't mean that we shouldn't trust that he'll end neoliberalism. You know, maybe he's changed. And, you know, indeed he talks about Manchesterism as the model for ending neoliberalism, and lots of people in the media have been telling us that this is something new and something exciting. So what is the story of Manchesterism then, Burnham's pet project? To see if it would end neoliberalism, I took a wee look and see if I could find its sort of rotten carcass. But in a shocking turn, what I actually found was that in Manchesterism, neoliberalism at the municipal level isn't dead, but it seems to be thriving. Mr. Normal Bloke really did work side by side with businesses. Well, he worked side by side with some businesses, as the London Review of Books reports that between 2015 and 2024, nearly £1 billion of public money was lent on favourable terms to developers who built almost no affordable housing, almost 2/3 of it to one company. In fact, the logic underpinning Manchesterism seems to be, according to local tenant organiser and writer Isaac Rose, that the actually existing Manchester model has been to use the state to de-risk profitability for a particular kind of rentier capitalism. A core feature of neoliberalism has always been using state forces to create and uphold markets for private capital accumulation. Under Tony Blair's progressive neoliberalism, of which our Normal Bloke was a part, the use of public-private partnerships, or PPPs, exploded. And for anyone who doesn't know, a public-private partnership is essentially a way for the state to funnel money into private hands, often for infrastructure projects.
PPP was basically a de-risk model. So capitalists, investors, private companies, blah, 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 private actors, they could do this stuff and it would be de-risked. They wouldn't suffer from it. The state would, the government would literally back them. So yeah, that's neoliberalism, essentially. Yeah. I don't want private actors working like that. We shouldn't be de-risking any sort of investments that they put in. If it fails, it fails, and they fall flat on their fucking faces. Having the government step in and de-risk it for them, so they're guaranteed to make at least some money at the taxpayers' expense. Fun. That's delightful, isn't it? No, just do fucking public funding of shit. It's not that fucking difficult. But ideology gets in the way at the end of the day, doesn't it? I'll say again, it fucking sucks. And for Christ's sake, nationalise your water.
Projects like schools and hospitals, and essentially to de-risk large projects for capital. And de-risking is maybe the wrong framing, because the risk still exists, but it's absorbed by the state and ultimately by the public and not by the corporations or capital. I still remember my modern studies teacher, Mrs. Rogers, who's a formative figure in my life, and one of the reasons I do this stupid job, she described to us the use of PPP contracts, which was used to build Edinburgh's Royal Infirmary. The state provided funds and contracts to private companies to build the hospital, and then when it was completed, the state rented the hospital off of the company until the cost had been totally covered, totally returned to the corporation. And you might think that...
With interest, I hasten to add. So yes. The capitalist is always covered under neoliberalism because the invisible hand of the market. That invisible hand doesn't fucking exist. It literally is invisible. And it gets the state actually backs these people to do these things, build hospitals, schools, housing, blah, 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 whatever. Build and maintain airports, whatever you wish. So they are guaranteed, they are backed by the state. I don't want that. I don't want the fucking extension to happen down at Heathrow as well either. That is going to be a massive fucking carbon sink. That is going to cost a lot of fucking carbon. And we're already suffering. Look at the fucking heat wave recently. From the mystery of the Fabian sheepskin clad wolf. And is anyone actually good chickens or whoever the never mind. As in the Fabians, the good wolves or the bad wolves all there's the bad wolves all along. We know that, Flow Snake. Praise be Elron, he's dealing with his own Fabian and his constituency, Angela Eagle. Angie, your days are numbered with any fucking luck. I have permission, don't worry. So Elron Hubward, great comrade, his constituency, he lives in Wallasey. So basically the Liverpool area. No, the Fabians have been bad. They're literally the bad wolves. They are. And the concept of the good wolf doesn't exist. I have been noticing people saying that online recently. Not in any of the Discords I'm a part of, or anything, just generally online. Mostly on Twitter, oddly enough. Oh, the Niblet is now, they are going on to Twitter for me and finding shit for me. And I said, please do good mental health care for yourself there, sweetie. Only go on if you need to. I'm on there anyway, Auntie Katie, don't worry. She sometimes feels like they want to chuck their phone at the wall. I don't blame her. Going on to Twitter must be fucking horrible.
At that point, the state has totally paid off the hospital that would default back into state hands. You'd think that they'd bought it. You'd be wrong. Instead, the state then has to renegotiate the contract and continue to rent the hospital off of the private contractor.
Liar, Lanley. And I come before you good people tonight with an idea.
It's an absurd system, well suited to neoliberal logics, and indeed you can see clear elements of it throughout Manchesterism. Rose specifically points to the system of housing investment in Manchester, where the local authority invested £938 million in loans into Manchester's property sector. 2/3 were invested within the Manchester City Council area, while more than half of that amount, over £500 million, was lent to Reniker alone. None of the housing delivered by Reniker has been affordable. Across the near 11,000 units supported by the HIF, only 503, under 5%, have been classed as affordable. This has been one of the principal financial aids to the bombardment of Manchester over the last decade. The role this local authority fund plays in de-risking private development and rent seeking continues. This month, the fund approved a loan of £50 million to Salboy, a developer co-founded by Betfred billionaire Fred Dunn, to ease their plans for a 246-metre tall skyscraper. The ripple effect of all of this development has been rising rents, up to 40% in Manchester in the last 3 years, and ultimately displacement from the inner city. So,
rejoice! Gentrification. That's essentially what it's done. It's gentrified the fucking major parts of the Manchester itself, let alone the greater Manchester area, but mostly in the Manchester City Council area. Yay, gentrification! Ah! And they're leaving places like where I live here in the north of Glasgow. We're basically left to rot under Labour, and obviously the Tories actively try to end us. And Lib Dems, I'm never going to forgive you for that, propping up those bastards. You're dead to me. As much as I appreciate Alex Cole-Hamilton's voice, he does say some good things. He's progressive. He's a social progressive, essentially. Yay for the gays. Mostly. But in every other sphere, neoliberal. I'm not going to forget that, Lib Dems, by the way. Especially you, Alistair Carmichael. You've got your claws dug into fucking Orkney and Shetland. But now we've got Hannah Marie Goodlad up there representing Orkney. Shetland. Shetland? Sorry, I've forgotten if she's Orkney or Shetland. Shetland. Sorry, Hannah. Oh, it's Hannah Mary. She was Hannah Marie on the ballot. Hannah Marie Goodlad is a Scottish politician, a member of the Scottish National Party. She has served the Minister for Public Finance since the election. She has been a member of the Scottish Parliament since the 8th of May. Basically, she just got voted in. Oh, Christ, she's 11 years younger than me. Christ. Hi, Hannah. Minister for Public Finance. Some of the early Fabians were leftists. We're talking over a century ago at this point, by the way, everyone. But progressively over post-war, like just before the Second World War and post-war consensus after the war, they haven't been leftists. They haven't. Trust me on that one. Yeah, so back in the day, some of them, not all of them, just a few, were actual leftists, actual socialists. But they basically withered and died on the vine of the Fabian Society. Feel free to finish this quote, because I like to see if my audience pays attention. Never trust the liberal.
I guess it's an ironic turn for a normal bloke who wants to fix regional inequality, that the effects of Manchesterism's de-risking of private capital seems to have been a deeply uneven development, with the regional core seeing productivity gains and the picture for the rest of the city region far less rosy, and many of the productivity benefits have been captured by capital, not labour, absorbed by increasing rents. And increasing rents in the inner city has resulted in, of course, displacement, a mini concentration of power within both capital and the core municipal region.
So number 10 North can be that circuit breaker, taking power out of Whitehall into the rest of the country and supporting all places to have good growth in every postcode.
And as Rose argues, this doesn't look like the rotten corpse of neoliberalism, but instead represents a crystallisation of it. So far it's not looking good for Hope and blokes, but Burnham has made reindustrialisation of the North and other left-behind regions a centrepiece to his new agenda. And this surely must be where the decisive break from neoliberalism is. Clearly this can't refer to a mass return of manufacturing in general. The UK economy has deindustrialised faster than basically every other advanced economy. In 1948, the UK accounted for around 12% of global goods exports. By 2018, it accounted for 4% of goods and services combined. In place of manufacturing, services, including research and development, financial services, and professional and management consulting, have become central to UK trade, accounting for 56.2% of exports in 2023. And this gap between goods and the blurrily defined category of services is widening. Service exports rose by 73% between 2010 and 2024, while goods exports stagnated, making the UK the only G7 economy with a higher value of service exports than of goods.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear your mad Scottish lass? Oi oi. Am I back? Hopefully I'm back. I shouldn't be. Oi, oi. Oh, the audio input's working. Yay! I am back. Hello. So yes, what I was saying, I'll start from the beginning. From like 48 to 79, basically your last was, hence the number in my name, 79, that's the year I was born. So for like 48 to then, post-war consensus, building up social safety nets, doing manufacturing, exporting to the world. Then she happened, and we've basically been turned into a financial services sector and other service economy industry, essentially. Yeah. While goods exports stagnated, making the UK the only G7 economy with a higher value of service
The only
exports.
G7 economy with a higher value of service exports than of goods. So to effectively reindustrialise the UK would take such a monumental shift in the entire structure of the economy, even if we weren't to consider the international costs of labour power and the massive capital expenditure that it would take to do so. But there are potential avenues of investment and development left, especially in the context of global climate catastrophe, the effects of which have plunged England into a sustained drought, turning parks into 1920s US-style dust bowls and making me dress like a slut. It's really hot. I can't cope.
Well, you're certainly doing your job today, Mr. Sun. Oh, rats.
I had to turn the fan off while I'm recording because it's too loud, and the window's closed. I'm in a sweat box. It's horrible. But the climate...
Thank you, Flow Snake. Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Take your meds. Stay based. Free Palestine. And say hi to Mrs. Flow Snake for me. Come back for the next part of the Tim's review that your lass will be covering on her next stream. I won't be doing that tomorrow. It's going to be fun. It's going to be nice and easy. Star Trek incoming with me and Andy and a few guests. It's going to be great. 10 p.m. Saturday. Me and Andy Luke. It's going to be fun. I will see what one I've picked. I will not see what videos the other comrades have picked. I've picked The Menagerie for my sins. He's an overbearing influence in that regard. He is original series. I'm TNG and DS9, essentially. And to a certain extent, Voyager. Good night, Flow Snake. Thank you as always. Sweet dreams, and I will talk to you later. Thank you. Say good night to Flow Snake, everyone. They be awesome. They be a great mod.
Climate catastrophe and the transition economy means that there is a renewed interest in investment in renewable energy, in public infrastructure like rail, in public house building and retrofitting existing properties for the age of climate catastrophe. And all of these sort of infrastructural projects might be able to inject some industrialisation and some job growth in regions across the country, although still likely would not be as much as we would hope given the paradigmatic restrictions of a capitalist transition. Basically, transition economy jobs aren't as labour intensive as we would hope, and we can't rely on the transition to reindustrialise any area. If we want to have more job growth or we want to better distribute labour in our society, it would take a much greater break.
Turbines. Omaha. Naughty. I know what you mean. They're called wind turbines, and we should be doing a fuck ton of them. Do I need to say more? I do keep on ranting about it, obviously. On and offshore, if you please, and tidal. Do fucking tidal. And stop charging for putting our excess energy onto the fucking grid. We literally get charged. We overproduce the electricity. All of our electricity up here in Scotland is renewable. All of it. Every last bit that feeds every Scottish house fucking business. It is all generated renewably with on and offshore. And some solar and hydro as well. It's all renewable. rebuild Adrian's wall. Don't tempt me, Omaha. Seriously. I would literally come down and rescue you and bring you up myself. Because you are Scottish, you can come back home and you can go on a housing list. I will help you. Trust me on that one. If anyone wants rescuing, just reach out to me and see if we can figure it out and get you up here. It's already happened. Lots of disabled people moved up here when the Tories were in charge, literally demonising us and trying to end us. That was fun. Thanks, you Tory fucking demons.
From essentially capitalist economics, but that's not the topic of this video. Basically though, if you wanted to pursue what might be a kind of reindustrialization, even if it was limited, probably a transition economy project would be where you want to go. Unfortunately, Burnham seems more committed to further drilling for North Sea oil instead.
Well, amidst that likely flurry of announcements, one of the things that BBC News has been told that Andy Burnham will announce is plans for renewed oil and gas drilling in the North Sea when he becomes Prime Minister on Monday.
And so far...
Rejoice, your lass gets to rant. Dinny. Leave Rosebank, oil, Jackdaw, natural gas, where the fuck they are. It's going to take billions to actually drill into them. They are mature basins. They are so fucking far down. It's going to take fucking years to get at them and extract them. They go on the global market unless Burnham's willing to nationalise it. So it just basically gets sold to the state, gets sold to the government, the country. Which I don't see Burnham doing. Just saying. It still goes in the global market. It will be taxed, don't worry, but it will blow our climate gains that we've had so far. Just blow them out the water. That's fun. We'll add to the fucking climate crisis. Rejoice. That's great, isn't it? And with Super El Nino going to be hitting next year, we're going to get fucked. Do you think it was warm this summer? Holy fuck. Please, in the south and the southeast, please make sure you're well protected next summer. Stay indoors, stay in the shade, hydrate, drink a fuck ton of water. You think 36 was fucking hot? There's every fucking possibility you'll go past 40 down in the southeast. Ah, nationalisation, the beating heart of neoliberalism. Oh, Omaha, you are delightful as always. Yeah, that doesn't jive. No. I will just stand here on the sideline screaming into the void. Please fucking listen to me. Yay, my favourite hobby horse. Getting them to stop drilling for oil and gas. There is better ways. Trust me on that one. The fact that we've decarbonised our electricity generation up here in Scotland means nothing. Apparently. I'm so fed up of getting treated like this. I really am.
After a Cobra meeting concerning the UK's heatwave, Burnham's only real solution to global climate catastrophe is banning disposable barbecues. Actually, it's not even banning them, it's asking shops not to sell them. Fucking inspired. Not very normal bloke of you, Andy. Not very normal bloke at all. For a clue as to why he's so committed to further oil extraction, beyond a stated aim to bring down energy prices, which won't happen with further extraction, I think we can look at a few things. Firstly, the planned massive increase in data centres, which requires huge amounts of energy.
Those little thumbnails, those little pointers, data centres. Look at it, all across the central belt. It's fun. I don't want any of them. And about 2/3 of those, AI. I do not want you using our Scottish water. It may be nationalised, but you're not fucking wasting it. If it goes through using it to cool data centres for AI, it can be used. it gets muddied essentially, and it can't be used as potable, basically used for human consumption. Most of them can fuck right off. Can you hear me, Burnham? Thank you. So fucking tiring.
Energy. The UK still imports most of its oil and gas, but I can see the government seeking some energy security to sustain the doomed venture of AI data centre investments. Secondly, the power of fossil capital in general is just massive. Beyond just energy, fossil capital underpins our entire productive regime, which has allowed it, in the words of Tilstead and Newell, to serve the interests of capital in general as opposed to a particular fraction of capital. This privileged role and hegemony is reflected in the political sphere by the fact that the petrochemical industry has the highest lobby costs in the EU. It's not hard to imagine that this powerful fraction of capital exerts a huge amount of pressure on Burnham's government. But finally, and related to the massive power played by the petrochemical industry, Burnham is obsessed with increasing military spending, a fossil fuel intensive and incredibly polluting industry which accounts for 40% of public sector emissions.
To keep our country safe. Keeping the country safe.
Andy Burnham's sounding similar to his predecessor and indeed talking about spending already planned by Keir Starmer. £8 billion to help replace the existing ageing class of nuclear submarines with 4 new dreadnoughts.
One of the first signs of the normal things to come with Burnham's government was his appointment of John Healey as Chancellor. Healey was previously Keir Starmer's Defence Secretary, but quit because he thought Starmer's planned defence spending increases weren't enough. And keep that in mind. Burnham then appointed former Health Secretary and possibly the most roundly hated man in the Labour Party, Wes Streeting, as Defence Secretary, possibly because his image is a sort of haunted.
I knew Wes when I was a student and he was then US president, always a right-wing lick-spittle cunt. Oh, no problem, Omaha. Stay hydrated, not necessarily with Budweiser. Self-care is good care. Take your meds. Stay based. Free Palestine, and let me know if you buy that nail buffer. It has been a pleasure having you in chat, as always. Mwah. I will catch you later. Bye, Omaha.
In the Labour Party, Wes Streeting, as Defence Secretary, possibly because his image as a sort of haunted ventriloquist dummy would scare away any potential invaders. I wouldn't want to go in a house that had Wes Streeting in it. He's haunted. And Streeting has confirmed that defence spending will take priority over other areas of government spending under Burnham, which he said would make an enormous contribution to economic growth. And we'll return to the horrendous moral implications of this policy in a minute.
No, it won't. On the multipliers, it is small. It is. It's an incredibly concentrated and small part of the economy. I should know, I've talked to my biological dad about it when he was still among us. So is defence spending good for the economy? Marginally. Marginally. But no, they just need to build up the productive capacity to do other things. Like, we've got some really good experts in lots of different areas that could actually be good and using the multiplier, the Keynesian multipliers essentially would be good. But yeah, the defence spending on a country of our scale, yeah, it's small beans. You just keep on talking to your friends about that.
For now, let's take a look at the claim that defence spending will contribute to growth as a linchpin for reindustrialisation. So, in an analysis of Starmer's defence investment plan, which was set to double the UK's military budget, and remember, this wasn't enough for Burnham's Chancellor John Healey, in response to Starmer's proposal, the Transition Security Project argued that, far from reindustrialisation, this plan would result in around a 10,000 net reduction of jobs in the UK. And there's a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, Starmer's plan was to be funded by cutting spending in other areas like health, education and energy, and while Burnham has yet to indicate where he will get the money to fund increased defence spending, he has committed himself to maintaining Starmer's fiscal rules consistent with the neoliberal OBR watchdog. This, combined with Streeting's statement that defence spending will take priority over other areas of government spending, shows quite clearly that he will maintain Starmer's planned cuts in areas other than defence. The effects of such cuts will be a decline in growth in areas of the economy these departments relate to. Theoretically, according to the government, this decline would be more than offset by a defence dividend, which, even under the Starmer plan, was supposed to lead to growth and new jobs across the UK.
What I've said as part of the defence investment plan is that I want through it to give a commitment to all of our communities up and down the country. We do need to re-industrialise Britain, and to make sure the kind of jobs we have here are available in all parts of the country.
Unfortunately, as several analyses have shown, the defence dividend doesn't really exist in the UK. This is partly due to the fact that for decades, arms and military production has been reducing its human footprint. In contrast to the defence dividend that was meant to support new jobs and growth across the UK, the defence investment plan will lead to net job losses. This should not be surprising. Multipliers for military spending, which determine how many jobs are created per unit of spending, are often lower than multipliers for spending on health, care, education and many other public priorities. The increase in the Ministry of Defence budget announced in the Defence Investment Plan has a very small multiplier. It will only produce 2.4 jobs per £1 million of spending. By contrast, a Conservative multiplier model for the capital budget of the departments facing cuts is much higher, at 9.9 jobs per £1 million. Thus, it should be no surprise to the government that partially funding £15 billion on military spending through cuts to other departments results in a net loss of jobs. And just one example of the continued austerity logic prevailing across other aspects of state expenditure is the continued crisis in UK higher education. One of the UK's few genuinely world-leading industries, and an industry which often sustains towns across the country. The university is often a linchpin for various towns, and their collapse would mean a collapse in local economies. Yet successive governments have presided over funding cuts, marketisation and neoliberalisation, and now departments are closing all over the place, with institutions themselves.
You saw it lead out there. Helena's Helena's better at this than me. I'll give my own little Scottish spin. Here in Glasgow, we've got the shipyards down in that direction, down on the Clyde essentially. And we've got BAE Systems as well up here. And I don't know if it's still Kinetic. There was a firing range and an R&D development company up north. Basically, they've got a private firing range to test all the stuff that they make. The multipliers don't make fucking sense. And yeah, there's other sectors of the economy which would be good for job creation and better for the economy. But they're not fucking doing that. Odious little prick can go and do one. I don't know. 528 fucking votes. And we wouldn't need to worry about West Streeting existing in the House of Commons, but he's still there. With any fucking luck, he'll lose a seat at the next general election.
Looking increasingly precarious. And Burnham has said nothing about this, but instead just wants to fund death, like a normal bloke. So the prospective impact of this defence-based reindustrialisation strategy may well be an overall loss of jobs. But worse than this, despite both Starmer and Burnham claiming that defence spending will rebalance the underserved regions, including ex-industrial towns in the north.
What I've said as part of the defence investment plan is that I want through it to give a commitment to all of our communities up and down the country.
Most defence contracts are concentrated in the south of England. Every aspect of this privileging of defence is counter to what Burnham claims will happen. It won't result in economic growth. Jobs won't return, they'll be lost. The regional imbalances won't be fixed, they'll be exacerbated. Like Burnham's Manchesterism, this isn't the death of neoliberalism, but its crystallisation. The government stepping in to funnel money into private hands under the guise of a regional rebalancing. However, unlike Manchesterism, Burnham's defence spending will have global impacts, as the UK's defence sector exports mass slaughter across the globe. Despite the claim that defence spending is required to fix systemic underfunding prior to these commitments from Starmer and Burnham, the UK's defence spending was amongst the highest in the world and exceeded its 1980 spending in real terms. We have never stopped playing a major role in global bloodshed, but it's a role which remains subordinate to US interests, and this is one reason why Burnham's defence spending is actually a boon to the US, with 85% of UK weapons coming from the US, and also in reaction to Trump's comments about, NATO allies having to keep up with spending obligations. Very clearly, this is deeply implicated with US hegemonic interests. As more than just economic support for the US war machine, the UK has long actively participated in wars and coups to uphold US hegemony. Since 1945, the UK has been involved in planning or executing 42 coups to remove foreign governments across the global south, involving its intelligence agencies, covert and overt military interventions and assassinations, including Iran in 1953, the Congo in 1961, Oman in 1970, and Libya in 1996, amongst numerous others. The UK has supported the US in its post-9/11 wars, which killed 940,000 people in direct conflict and 3.6 to 3.8 million people through devastation of social and economic infrastructure. Notably, Burnham was in the cabinet during that time and supported these actions. Just because he's a normal bloke, just normal stuff. He probably liked Greggs then as well. The UK maintains a global network of military bases used extensively by the US, including in the latter's recent attacks on Iran. Moreover, while the UK imports 85% of its weapons from the US, it is the 6th largest exporter of arms in the world. Weapons made in British factories have been sold to Saudi Arabia for use against the Yemeni population, resulting in hundreds of thousands of deaths. They've been sent to Qatar and the UAE, where they have been used to conduct genocide in Sudan, and they've been sent to Israel, where they've been used to conduct a brutal genocide of Palestinians. Attempts to disrupt Israeli arms manufacturing in Britain has resulted in activists convicted under terror charges and given obscene and draconian sentences. But Andy Burnham's favourite Greggs is a sausage bean melt or something, so isn't that cute? Maybe we should ask him what he calls a bread roll next. Please ignore all the blood dripping off his hands. It's not blood, it's gravy. He's just a normal gravy-loving bloke. What really gets me about this, the thing that made me write this script, is the bizarre way that Andy Burnham is being treated by the media and crucially by segments of the left as well. They're clapping like seals. It's infuriating. I remember when Starmer was vying for Labour leadership post-Corbyn, and a bunch of people claimed that he'd have just the same politics as Corbyn, but respectable, in a suit. And I remember thinking that anyone taken in by that nonsense was just hopelessly naive. Maybe I could forgive it once, but it's happening again.
It is happening again.
Burnham flutters his fucking lashes, and you fold. Everyone should know better than this. Burnham's not just an ordinary bloke, he's a neoliberal ghoul, a figure of the establishment, someone committed to maintaining the current order of things. His promotion of military spending at the expense of any climate goals, any actual nationalisation of any key industries, any disciplining of the power of capital, any redistribution of income from capital to labour, shows that for Burnham, Manchesterism is not a rejection of neoliberalism, but the increasing subordination of the UK state to the global death machine of the increasingly fascistic US fossil-fuelled hegemony. What our friend in the north is pushing is not a post-neoliberal rejuvenation, but Manchesterism, a neoliberal death machine.
Hello, thanks for watching. Forgive the voice, but I am slightly ill while I record this. If you've made it to the end of this video, thanks so much. This channel wouldn't survive without the support of everyone who...
Oh, look at that name. I wonder who that might be.
watches these videos, engages with them, and people who support me via Patreon. $2 and up patrons get early access to videos, get access to all the scripts. $5 and up get access to a Discord, and $10 and up get their names read out in the credits. Once again, like, couldn't do this at all without that amazing support for just $2 a month at the lowest level. If you can't commit to a monthly recurring thing, I also have a PayPal and Ko-fi in the description. I'd like to just point out that a lot of the work that was done in this video is thanks to the Transition Security Project, who are a great project run by Commonwealth that you should all check out and look to support. Their work on redefining security in terms of the climate and their criticism of the military-industrial complex is really good. So I'd encourage you all to check out that project if you enjoyed this video. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like I say, I'm quite ill, but this video made me kind of angry, and I will be looking to try and get some more out soon. Not sure what the next one will be on. I'm going to be away for a while, so hopefully I'll try and get something out soon. But anyway, thanks for watching this one, and I hope you enjoyed it. And once again, if you can sign up to Patreon, please do. If you can't, no worries. Liking and sharing is all that matters as well. So, and with that, I will just read out the names of the $10 and up patrons who get their names read out in the credits. So we've got Demon Squid, Soval Hayes, Anita Anispe, Bon, Cameron Blakemore, Daniel Swing, Earl Grey T, Ellis Wren, FD Signifier, Hey Joe, Joshua Moldenhauer, Catherine Helm, Katie Marshall, Kim Crawley, Necromantic, Nina G Public Relations, S, Stephen Van Doren, unoriginal name, Violet, Beans, Aga Ghost, Aaron, Alex, Borderland Rice, Kids Ware, Christopher Poff, Daniel Hughes, Duncan Skinner, Esoteric Fictionalism, Eugene K, J. Fraser Cartwright, Jack, Jacob Quinn Schenker, Joel, John W, J.R. Barbera, Caspar Gunda Westberg Larson, Kieran Gore, Layum, Mason Colbert, Mark Gussie, Niels Abelgard, Patrick Mackey, Paul Singleton, Theo Westfall, Practical Woman, Rachel Ann, Rachel Mixon, Robin, Tamash Kispiter, TB Skyen, Tim, Tinfoil Pancakes, Tom Price, Xander Corvus, and I think that's it. That is it. Someone almost snuck in under the radar there, but you didn't get me. You didn't get me. Alright, that's it. Bye. Love you.
Oh my god, nearly 4 hours tonight. Doing well. I have found our raid target. Let's go and say hi to Comrade, a non-binary legend, Red Rust 308. They be doing bass. Because they bassist. They be awesome. Hang on. Where are you, Red Rust, my comrade? Oh, I thought I saw them. Red Rust? Oh. No Red Rust. Weird. Let's go and say hi to Raptor then. How long's Raptor been going?
Yeah, okay, tell me. I just got here and things got crazy.
This dude got a fucking liar, by the way. Also, this nigga's a vet.
Dan! Hello, Dan. Rejoice, just as I'm reading out. We have Dan Abulaith. Hello, my comrade. How be you? How be things at the other end of the M8? You've been lurking. I'm glad that you've been there. How have I been doing tonight? Feel free to criticise me, everyone. If I could do better, please tell me. I'm always up for growing and learning, as always. Let's go and say hi to Raptor, shall we? Red channel. Maybe Raptor. Raptor, please. Raptor! Go to Raptor. stay hydrated, not necessarily with the Budweiser. Self-care is good care. Take your meds. Stay based. Free Palestine. And tell Andy Burnham to do one. Okay. You have to remember that man campaigned for Better Together. That's working out well for Scotland, isn't it? We will go over to Raptor Blue because he be awesome.
News. Why do I get fucking Epoch's Time vibes? Why do I get fucking Epoch's Time vibes from this? Mad Cat, thank you for the raid. Oh yeah, no, I knew Ground News was a fucking right-wing psyop.
Are you playing your love games with me? I just want to know what to do because I need your love a lot. Come on now, you love me.
Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in.